Greetings and welcome everyone to our very first live YouTube Priestess View show. We've got Goddess Star with us,
Hello and merry meet, everyone.
and of course I'm Goddess Rhonda, and we are just so thrilled to be able to go visual with you, which will help us better to engage with you, but also you'll be able to see us demonstrate more things, to actually watch us do it. It will help you with that. And then we also have a brand new forum that we have posted on our Priestess View Facebook page. Since we're not doing the blog talk anymore, although you will be able to still listen to the show on Blog Talk, we're going to go ahead and upload it for our Blog Talk archived fans. But in the meantime, if you go to the forum, if you go to the Priestess View, the Facebook page, you'll see the forum, and you can just click on that and you'll be able to type in your questions or comments, and Goddess Star and I will be checking it throughout this show to see if anyone has made any comments. So please go to the Priestess View Facebook page. I've pinned it right to the top of the page. So you can just click on that, and then we can go ahead and answer any questions that you may have. And that forum is also up all the time. So you can send Goddess Star and I questions or comments, start chats in there yourself with your friends. Please feel
Yeah.
free to make use of it. Right now, it's not very filled in because we only just started it, but we do plan to fill it with spells and rooms where you can just air your issues as a pagan. If you're a newbie, you can get some more help with that. So we're going to go ahead and grow that forum. So please take a moment, if you can, to visit it, and you will see it pinned right to the top of the Priestess View Facebook page. You'll see it right there. Just click on it and start typing away.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
as always, before we start our shows, we like to cast a circle of protection around us. All hail, our lords and ladies of the East, my brothers and sisters, my brother and patron, the sacred element of air, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee, my lords and ladies. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. All hail, our lords and ladies of the South, my brothers and sisters, my brother and patron, the sacred element of fire. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee, my lords and ladies. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. All hail, our lords and ladies of the West, my brothers and sisters, my sister and patron, the sacred element of water. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee, my lords and ladies. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. All hail, our lords and ladies of the North, my brothers and sisters, my sister and patron, the sacred element of earth. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee, my lords and ladies. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. And we now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well being and fill our spaces with peace and protection always. Thank you, and so it is. Well, welcome once again to our Priestess View show with Goddess Rhonda and Goddess Star. Again, we are just so thrilled to be going live. And today, what we're going to talk about today is getting back on track with your New Year's resolutions. I know here we are. Um, the solstice is right upon us. It's been about 3 months. And for many of us, a lot of the resolutions, all those positive intentions we started the new year with, have just gone completely by the wayside. And we have legitimate excuses and reasons and things that we have validated within ourselves as to why we can't do it. So, Goddess Star and I are here to refute those excuses and validations that you've given yourself to put it off and get you right back on track so that you can achieve all of the things that you're trying to achieve. And please keep in mind that this show is based on Goddess Stars and I's opinion. Your opinion may differ, and that's okay. You know, everything has to be custom to you. So just, everything we say is not carved in stone. By all means, if we tell you to use a red candle to fight back, but you feel inside, no, 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 I need to use a blue candle, please do it your way. Your way
Yes.
is the only way that counts. So by
Right.
all means, put your own little spin on it. So did Goddess Star and I. We were talking about that today, right, Goddess Star? We put our
Yes,
own
yes,
spin on things.
you
And
know,
just
and a lot of it is based on our experiences, and yeah, to us it works, and I'm sure to you certain things work. It's kind of like a money, for instance. A
Mhm.
money candle to many of us is green, but in China or places like that it's red. You know what I mean? So
That's
it's a matter of what feels right for you. Okay.
right. Exactly. So by all means, put your own twist on everything. So, the first thing we're going to talk about, we're going to attack the issue of why our resolutions fail in the first place. So, Goddess Star, I'm just going to let
Yes.
you take it away and you give me your opinion as to why that is, and then I'll jump in with mine later. But go right ahead.
Okay, see, I'm going to start with the fact that I'm going to base it on myself as well, because
Right.
I remember thinking I would like to do all these things this in 2015, and I was supposed to write it down or type it up. Forget the writing down. I hate writing. So I was going to type it up all nice and neat and everything. And honestly speaking, I honestly did not do it. And so that's one of the things I think is an issue, because imagine if all those things that you wanted to do, you did not write it down. How are you knowing or making sure that you are doing the things or planting the seeds for whatever it is so that it will be accomplished, so that you
Right.
can do this, you know what I mean? All the little things. So I'm sitting there going a month late in or 2 months in, and I'm going, why didn't I write this down?
Right.
Or rather type it up. And I'm beating my head against the wall, going, I should have done that.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I think is the reasons why some of it is not done. Because that thing that you do, even on our phones, there are apps for it now on our phones where we have it written down and we check it off as we do it. That's
Right.
something as human beings we're very visual and we love to do, because we say, okay, I've done that, I've crossed that out, and you see it. You see that you've crossed it and out, and you go, okay, I've accomplished that. And the human body, as what humans one to another, we feel better knowing, okay, that was on my list, and now it's crossed off. I've done that. And you're moving on to the next one on the list. So I think one of the things that's mainly done is if we need to write that down. So I think that's one of the reasons sometimes we fail to do it. And don't think for a minute that you can't redo that list or write it down now or
Oh,
type it
yeah.
up now. You can. You absolutely can. Okay.
I agree. I do. I agree. First of all, I'm a huge list person. I love lists. In fact, I need them because I've got so many things going on in my head at all times. Typically, I can only remember what I need to know for the emergency of the moment. So the other stuff will fall away. Then I'll put a fire out, and it's like, okay, what was I doing? Oh, I don't know. And because if I didn't write it down, I'll be lost. So I have lists everywhere, and then I prioritize the list to get done what I can get done that day. And your
Yeah.
list can evolve. Today you might have some things on it. Tomorrow you might want to erase some stuff off, put something new on. Go ahead and let your list flow as you evolve. As you might say, you know what, I thought I wanted to do this, but now that I think about it, I'd rather do this. Cross the other thing off and go with the other thing. You know, your list can change as your emotions change, as your focus changes. So go right ahead and let your list evolve with you.
Yeah. One of the things I find that works for me with list is you have the main list of everything. And then like you said, it's not that it changes, but you kind of, as you said, prioritize. So here you are with, okay, this big list, and then but today these are the things that I must do because it's an like emergency thing with list kind of a thing that for this particular thing to be done by a certain time, this is what I've got to do. Like for
Mhm.
instance, if you are looking for a job by a specified time. If you don't do certain things at a certain time, your resume or applying for the jobs, a lot of jobs these days have deadlines.
Yeah,
They're done via emails. You're up against it's a bigger pool basically for jobs these
right,
days. So you have got to do certain things by certain times, or you lose those chances.
right,
So you have, like, if you have getting a new job or starting a new business as one of your resolutions, then you know that, okay, I have certain time span, or I have a deadline for certain things that I've got to do. So those are the must be done list on a shorter way by this particular time. So those lists kind of change as you go to accommodate that, and I think that works. It makes it feel like, okay, as I to cross off that bigger line of things, that finding that new job or starting that business, I have to do these number of things like right now, at a certain time for me, to get it done. And
right.
once you've done that, you can go to that big list and cross it off. you know and it works that way. Or rather, it
That's
sets things in
awesome.
motion, you know what I mean, to accomplish the needs that you want.
Hmm. Hmm. I think that that's awesome. Well, one of my things, and Goddess Star and I, please keep in mind this is our first show, and we're going to go back and forth and exchange our ideas with each other. But if you see us glance at our notes or anything like that, don't worry about it. In big TV, in commercial TV, they have this teleprompter that says everything, so everybody looks like, oh, this is so seamless. But Goddess Star and I are very real. And so I have no problem with saying, yes, I have notes here, and I need them to follow along with what we're doing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
one of the
Because you know
issues,
what it is? We tend to we're saying a lot of things. We have all these ideas and thoughts, and we're putting it out there. And then we make little notes for it and everything like that. And of course, if we don't keep track of those notes that we wrote, we kind of forget something, and then later on we go, darn it, I didn't get to say that because I
right,
forgot to put that down as one
that's
of my
right.
notes on that list that we were talking about.
That's right. And
Yeah.
it could be a very important piece of information. So
Yeah.
we're trying to present this to you in a logical order and covering as many bases as we
Yeah.
possibly can. Now, for myself, my biggest issue is procrastination. And procrastination, my name should be Goddess Procrastination instead of Goddess Rhonda, because I will put things off and put things off. And I used to tell myself, well, the reason that I did that was because I've got so many things going on. I can just, all I can handle is the issue of the moment. I can't get to everything else right now. I've just got too many things. It's too much on my plate. I'll have to wait till another time to get to that. And I realized that I'm just making excuses to myself. So I actually listened to a webinar that Nick Ortner's organization gave. Nick Ortner does emotional freedom tapping. It's a way of clearing blocks out of you. And he did a show on procrastination, a free webinar. And the guest speaker that he had on there said, don't, beat yourself up. What comes with procrastination is beating yourself up. So if I say to myself, by the end of the week, I'm going to have my desk cleared, and then I get distracted and I do other thing, and here it is Friday, and my desk still looks exactly as it did on Monday, I might say, dang, I should have done this already. I don't know why I just can't get things done, and start beating myself up about it. But when we start beating ourselves up over what we perceive to be a failure, what we're really doing is we are starting a spiral of negative emotions that turn to negative energy that we start wrapping ourselves up in. And that is the first thing that's going to hinder you from getting things done. Instead, what we have to do is recognize Why are we procrastinating? And the reason is procrastination, believe it or not, is one of your coping skills. The reason that you procrastinate, it's your subconscious way of protecting yourself from doing things that you think are unpleasant. So you might say, you know what, starting Monday, I'm going to start my exercise program. Your subconscious that rules like 88% of what you do might say, oh, no, we're not. Because what's going to happen is we're going to hurt ourselves. We're going to hurt ourselves. Our muscles are going to be sore. We're going to be tired. Then we have to go to work. Then we're going to sit there in pain all day. I don't think it's a good idea. Let's do something else. So Monday you might get up and say, okay, well, you know what? I better get something else done. Maybe I need to throw some laundry in before I go to work. And then you don't get it done. And it's just a coping skill. It's your own subconscious way of protecting yourself. So what you have to do is start making some allowances for yourself. Instead of saying, you know what, I can't stand the fact that I just can't seem to get my desk cleaned off. Instead, say, you know what, I accomplished a lot this week. I accomplished this, and this. I didn't get to my desk yet, but probably Saturday I can set some time for myself and then I can get that done. Be proud of the achievements that you have made instead of beating yourself up over those things that even though you had the really best intentions of doing it, you didn't get to. So instead say, look what I did accomplish. Maybe I didn't get to clean my desk, or maybe I didn't get to start walking on the treadmill yet, but I did get this done. Give yourself a pat on the back, reset your clock, and then just go forward with that, with positive energy, positive emotions, and more importantly, a positive opinion about yourself. Because self-degradation is the quickest way to fall into the abyss. What do you think, Goddess Star?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true. It's actually what I would consider, it's kind of like when people start to do spells and already they start negating it. This is not going to work. Like, I
Right.
mean, you are what you call it? In a way, self-destruction. I mean, you are already giving yourself that negative vibe or that negative thoughts, and then you say, well, it was someone else's fault that you are going through a particular thing. No, a lot of times
Right.
you are the one that's doing it yourself or doing it to
Right.
yourself. So
Right.
it's a good idea to give the same way that you tell people with the spells and the different things to do, the positive vibes or the positive thoughts, or already think of it as being accomplished and done.
Right.
Do the same for yourself. It's the same way you have to treat yourself. And I think that works in general, but a lot of things that we do, every time we step out of to leave for work or whatever it is, we put ourselves down. I don't look right, or I don't look great, or whatever it is. Whatever it is, say, what about the good parts of you? Your beautiful personality, and you look fantastic in that outfit with a bit of weight on or not. Whatever it is, you look beautiful, and just face the day the way it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And don't focus on the deprivation of it. Well, if I go on this diet, because even though you're like, you know what, next week I'm going to start eating right. I'm going to go on this diet. I'm not eating cookies and cakes and candies anymore. I'm just going to do it. And your subconscious is like, yes, you are. We're going to eat whatever we want because that's normal to us. Our subconscious, we have to kind of to work with it. Don't focus on the deprivation because your subconscious is saying, oh, but if we do that, we're going to be hungry and we're going to be tired. And then we have to go through sugar withdrawals. Then we're going to get
Absolutely.
headaches. It's just not worth it. Let's not do it. Let's go ahead and eat some chocolate. I think that's the best thing for us to do. And then there goes the diet out the window again. Instead of
Yeah.
focusing on being hungry, make a list of what this is going to, whatever it is your resolution is, what is it going to achieve for you? And whenever your subconscious starts in with, oh, we don't want to do that because, you can say, yes, we do. And this is the reason why. These are the accomplishments that we're going to make. This is how much our life is going to improve. If you have to put it on a sticky note and walk around with it and read it 20 times a day, do whatever it is you have to do to keep that feeling of focusing on the goal instead of the pain that may or may not come with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely correct. And also when it comes to, say, weight loss or something like that, the minute you say the word diet, You ever notice that's when you start craving that cookies
Oh,
or
absolutely.
the things that you
Absolutely.
want to stay away from? You know what I mean? But I always thought that the word diet, that word die, D-I-E is in there, and people take it in a negative way. They do, the minute they say the word diet. So if you just kind of say, I'm just doing a management for myself, it's not a
Hmm.
diet. I'm just managing managing my weight. You think of something else to do with it, and you go with it and you change things. I'm just in a lifestyle change. I'm not depriving myself because if you notice, when I went to Paris, I was very surprised. There were very little overweight people, yet they were sitting down and they were eating crepe Suzettes and all the other desserts. And I'm sitting there going, at that time I was skinny though, so I was like, I was eating just as much as them. But one of the things that I did notice is that they did it, they actually sat down and they ate slowly and they enjoyed it. I'm sorry, most of us are on the go. We're taking that cookie or whatever it is as we're walking and running around, and that's when we gain the weight. You know what I mean? So we have to think about a lot of things in the way we put ourselves in the mindset that we're putting ourselves in. I'm depriving myself now of something. So now that diet, whatever that mindset is, that because you're depriving yourself of it, now you're sabotaging yourself.
Hmm.
So you just don't think of it as depriving or don't think of it as taking away from, and you
Hmm.
kind of go with it from there. And give yourself the positive, I can eat this. Why not? Just in small portions. Don't deny yourself. Because part of the word diet means that to a lot of people, I'm denying myself of certain things that I love or certain things that taste good. Because the minute people think of diets, what do they think about? A lot of times they think about things that are not tasting the best or again depriving themselves of something. So always think of things in a positive way and you'll be able to accomplish it better.
Hmm. Absolutely. And also, go ahead and talk to your subconscious. Get in touch with your subconscious because it really is running the show. You might think you're doing everything consciously, but that's usually not the case. So if you feel like, I really need to start looking for a new job, I can't stand this job, I need to look for a new one. And your subconscious says, well, I don't know, we're used to only making like $20,000 a year. I think we're okay here. We're just going to go ahead and stick with that. What that might translate to you is because your subconscious isn't going to start talking in your ear and say, oh, okay, Rhonda, the reason that we're not going to do this is instead it will translate when I go to look at the want ads, I might feel anxious or I might start to feel nervous and I just don't do it. It'll translate to me that way. As soon as you feel that anxiety coming over you to stop you from trying to do something, just say, you know what? Hey, subconscious, thanks for trying to protect me. I truly do appreciate it. But this really is for my highest and best good. And so we're just going to go ahead and do it. And then just go ahead and proceed with what you're doing. And this way you can start to understand the language that your subconscious uses to talk to you. The subconscious uses dreams and the subconscious uses emotions. So if you go to sign up, I don't know, with Jenny Craig and you're going to go ahead and do the thing and suddenly it's just like, oh my God, I don't feel good. I can't do this right now. That is your subconscious speaking to you saying, we don't really want to do this, do we? Are you sure you want to do this? It's a lot. We're going to give up a lot. And that's when you say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this. And just go ahead and do it. So,
Absolutely.
Goddess Star, what other reasons do you have for people not continuing with their New Year's resolutions?
Well, a lot of times you actually feel like even though you put that, say for instance, you're one of those that actually put the list together. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times you look at the list and you're like, darn, it's really overwhelming. You know, in a way, it feels like it's overwhelming because depending on what it is, or a bit of fear has stepped in, depending on what it is. Say, for
Right.
instance, that person wants a new job. They're not happy where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So they either have a choice of getting a new job or starting a business. A
Right.
lot of that to a lot of people is fear. They're afraid of starting. What if I leave this job and that one does not work out the way I want it to be? Then I'm stuck right back where I was. Or what if I leave this job and I went to start a business and it does not work out? So right away, they're already negating whatever it is they want to move on to next. So
Right.
fear tends to stop a lot of people from moving on to the things that they want to accomplish in their lives.
Right.
Actually, I think the number one thing is fear, because fear of what is it? Will I really accomplish it? Fear of that. Will I really gain? Lose that weight? Because a lot of times people say, I've gained, I've done so many diets,
Right.
because I've spoken to a lot of people that will say, I've done so many different diets up and down. I'm lost, I gained, I lost, I gained. In a
Right.
way, they've had this built-in fear of, I'm not really going to accomplish it, but I'm telling everyone I'm dieting, and then I've actually gained more than I've lost.
Right.
So there's a built-in fear that I think a lot of people have with a lot of the things on their list. So
Right.
in some ways, this is what you really want to accomplish on that list, but the fear seems to overcome you more.
Right.
So you don't set out to even begin to set the patterns of accomplishing whatever it is. So a lot of it has to do with dealing with getting over your fear of accomplishing the things that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's strange that people have a lot of fears about accomplishing things in general.
Right.
It took me a while to realize that sometimes even some of the things that I want to do, doing this with you, there's a fear with, am I going to do this right? Am I going to say the right things? Um, are we going to be able to convey what we really want to convey to people of what we know, what we want to say to them?
Right.
You know, we being honest and all of that. Will they see that? There's all these fears with these different things, but yet you kind of take the step. We did it, right? We took the step and we said, let's do this. And we know we had something to offer and speak to people about, and here we are. So we took that step. Even if we held our hands together and jumped, we did it. So I think it's like that. People need to find whatever it is. If it's another person,
Mm-hmm.
I have a partner, a friend of mine, she's one of my besties, and we work out with different people over the years, but honestly speaking, we accomplished the most when we worked out together better. you know rather than working out alone. Sometimes that's better for people. You find that particular person that knows exactly how you want to work out or whatever it is, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly it works. Every time you guys get together, you work out and it works out well. You lose the
Right.
weight, you stay on track because you support one another.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you have to find that other person that would help you accomplish what your goals are, you're not alone. Reach out to someone. There's always a friend or someone that you can say, can you support me with this? You
Right.
know, and stop saying, I'm going to start this, this weight loss, whatever it is, whether it's Jenny Craig or what's the other one? Weight Watchers or
Weight
whatever
Watch.
it is. They have a support group. There's a reason they have a support group, because when you do this together, it helps. But
It
if
does.
that does not work, because maybe it's not working because they're strangers, even though they're a support group. Maybe you need
Right.
someone that's a friend of yours that's there to support you and knit together, and you will pull each other along with it. Whatever it
Right.
takes, then that's what you do to accomplish what you want to do.
I
You
agree.
know, you
I
do what's
agree.
best for you.
I agree. Another reason that I had for resolutions failing is life happens. One of the things come up in your life, they can actually really stop you. You never know if, let's say your goal is you're going to get up in the morning 15 minutes earlier to start exercising, and just as you say that, your daughter's car breaks down, and now you're going to have to get up extra early to take her to work. Now you can't use that time to exercise. So a common complaint that you hear, and I've used this excuse myself, every time I try to do something, something gets in the way. But now I have a different way of looking at it. I don't look at it as the universe not letting me do what I want to do. That's not true. Look at it as the universe is challenging you by helping you to evolve, by forcing you to increase your focus and to become more resourceful. So let's say we're using that same example. You're going to get up 20 minutes early and you're going to start exercising in the morning. And then your daughter says, oh, mom, or your son, my car's not working. Can you get me to work until it's fixed? Don't let that stop you from doing what it is that you are trying to achieve. If you want to exercise and you can't do it in the morning, use your lunch hour. Bring a pair of sneakers with you to work. Go walk around the block, or if you're in an office building, walk up and down the stairs. Find someone to walk with you. If you're trying to, you say, okay, I'm going to get up 30 minutes earlier so I can work on my business plan because I'm starting a business, and the same thing happens. You can't do it because you've got to do something else. Get a tape recorder so that on your way to work, you can dictate that business plan. And when you get home, you can either type it up or you can just listen to it. If you've got little children, you can just put them to bed and allow yourself. You have to give yourself permission to evolve. So if you finally come home from work and you get your kids, their homework's done, you get them into bed, you might say, man, that couch looks really good. I think I'm just going to go sit on the couch for a few minutes and then I'll get my work done. That's not going to happen. You're going to sit on
No.
the couch, pick up the remote, and that's where you will stay until you fall asleep or get up and go to bed. Say, okay, you know what? I've
Yeah.
worked hard and I'm going to reward myself by letting myself sit and watch TV. But first, I'm just going to give myself 15 or 20 minutes to work on this one thing that I'm trying to do. And then I will give
Yeah.
myself that reward and sit on it. Try not to let life stop you. Think of it more of a challenge. It's going to actually help you when you think around the problem, think around the issue, look for a resolution and try to resolve it. And you're going to find that when you do that, say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to let that I have to take my daughter to work for a week. After that week, I'll probably get my car back and then I can go ahead and do what I have to do anyway. So in the meantime, I'll just start exercising while on my lunch hour. I'll go outside and I'll walk up and around the block, or I'll do something like that, or walk up and down the stairs, anything that you can do to help yourself out, or dictate what it is you're trying to do on the way to work so that you can listen to it. You can still get things done. You can use your phone. You don't even need a recorder because the phones now, they have the voice recorders. You can be
Yes.
driving or sitting on the subway and just start dictating. This is what you're trying to do. This is what I need to achieve. This is my list, whatever it is. Go ahead and use that time. Take the stairs. Don't take the elevator. There are ways that you can circumvent what is circumventing you from getting done what you need to have done.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that actually is a brilliant idea. I like that idea with the app on the phone, because you
Mm-hmm.
could be your own support person right there. When you speak and you recorded yourself saying, this is what I want to accomplish in 2015, imagine
Mm-hmm.
playing that on the way rather than music or whatever it is. You know, you're listening to all the things that you wanted to accomplish that year. And if you keep repeating that over and over, it's droning into your brain and your head and recording and staying there like, this is what I want to really accomplish. And it will
Right.
make you finally start to do something about it, set the different seeds or patterns of little things to accomplish to get it done. You know, so I
Yeah.
think that's actually very brilliant what you mentioned about the phone. I keep forgetting about the phones and all the different new apps that you can put on it,
Yeah.
you know. So that's a great idea, you know. And even you see, because a lot of times people would call or email and, you know, I want to do a spell to lose weight, or I want to do a spell to do different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do that. There are spells to lose, help you lose weight. There are spells to help you lose stress. There are spells to help you lose anxiety. There are spells to help you lose depression.
Priestess
There are
Star,
spells to help you lose
I think we might have
book
lost.
on
Oh, there she
the
is.
Enchanted Candle book. She has, I forgot what page it was on, but she does have one. But one of the things that work too is you can actually take either a magazine or something like that and look at the body type. Now, be realistic.
Right.
Whenever you're doing a spell, you have to be logical and you have to be realistic.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, you're trying to accomplish something that, in some ways, to you in your mind, not that it cannot happen, but to you in your mind, it feels like it's already set up to fail. A
Right.
spell works when you believe it's going to accomplish it's what it's going to do, right? Of
Right.
fruition. So for that to happen, be realistic with your spell. You can take a magazine, look at the body type. Is it like your body type? And have it there and say, okay, this is what I want to look like. This type, this is my body type. I'm big boned or whatever it is. This is my body type. Cut that out. Whatever you have to do with it, and put it on that candle. A red candle is great. Mars, the energy, Because you ever notice in the Catholic Church, or I'm not going to say Catholic, I'm just going to say in the church, if you notice when they burn candles, they burn
Mhm.
red candles majority of times, or if they're burning white, it's inside of a red jar. Red
Oh,
gives energy and brings out energy. So all of that is done for a reason. They know it creates energy. Then they've got the crowd singing and dancing and ready to do what they need to do. That's definitely not Catholic, sorry. That's another type of church. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. And essentially, so red is a great candle to use for weight loss. And thinking about the energies and all the different things, burning metabolism, everything, all of that, red. So that's a great candle to use. Now, if you think, of course, that it's a different candle, then of course use that because it will work better for you if you think that's a different color is better. But that's just my
right,
suggestion with a red candle. Now, if you're doing that, again, some people, I've actually done one where I thought to me it was better. I used the red, but I used a red female figure candle. And I started carving and saying little things of, yes, and I'm going to, like a nip tuck. You know that show Nip Tuck?
yeah,
Okay, and cut down some of the stomach and cut down some of the legs and the thighs, and I want it this way and I carved it that way. And you can accomplish what you want to do by seeing, okay, I've got it looking, this is a nice bigger candle and that's what I want to accomplish for myself. That's another way of doing spells because you've got that figure candle and that figure candle represents you. You're doing a spell on you to accomplish what you need to do. And it works. I've seen it work. I'm telling you. That's the same as when you're doing a money candle or whatever it is. If you take it and you could use the regular 7-day candle, that's fantastic. But a lot of
right,
times I've seen people use the figure candle in that color if it's available and it works. Okay? So, there are things you can do, but don't just rely on that spell because
right.
nothing, not one spell works if you don't do the other parts to it that you're supposed to do in the logical world. If you are going after that job or whatever it is, I'm jumping ahead a bit, but if you're going after that job or whatever it is, you are not going to get that job if you did not send out your resume.
That's
If
exactly
you
right.
did not do the mundane, practical stuff that you're supposed to do, because, you know, yeah, what might happen is the ideas of the different jobs that you might be qualified for, or different ideas of where, okay, oh wow, that's a new type of job. I might, I like that idea of that. But to actually get it, you have to have your name in there. If you're not in the
Hmm.
game, how are they going to know about you? It's
Right.
not just out in the universe. You have to allow them to know about you. There's a lot of people looking for jobs or whatever it is, or there's a lot of people wanting to lose weight. So now you've got to do what you're supposed to do. You
Right.
you work out. You find ways around things if you can't work out or don't like to work out.
That's
There are
right.
lots of ways that you can do things, that will get it done. Create a support group among your friends. You know, um, there's a lot of people that have formed friendships, very, very um, uh, tight friendships actually, on Facebook. I am sure there are groups out there on Facebook that are very good for support of these kinds of things. So find ways to be resourceful and use the resources around you that would help
Hmm.
you accomplish what you need.
I
What do you
think that
think
that's
on this,
awesome.
Rhonda?
I think
Yeah.
it's awesome. I was taking notes on some things that you said. One of the things that you said quite brilliantly yourself about speaking out loud what it is you're trying to do. There's a lot of power in words, tons
Yes.
of power. Just by speaking it out, you have cast a spell. You've already started metaphysically trying to make that happen because you have put that energy out through the throat chakra to let the world know, send out those vibrations so that you can do what it is that you're trying to do. And then also, when you said about the body type, you took me way back. And yes, I know I'm dating myself, but many moons ago, there was a gym, I believe it was called Gloria Roberts. And I used to go to that gym. And when you signed up at that gym, the first thing they did was they measured you and they put your information into a machine, and you got this printout where they used celebrity bodies to show you what your body type was.
Oh, was
So
that
it was
Lucille
really
Roberts?
cool. It was, what, say, I thought it was Gloria. No, you're right. It is. It's Lucille Roberts. Lucille Roberts. There you
So
go.
I said
Lucille
that
Roberts.
sounds
That's where
familiar.
I got Gloria Roberts from. But it's Lucille Roberts. And they would do
Right.
that. They would print this thing out. And I remember I signed up and they printed out, and keep in mind, this was, I won't bother saying what year it was, but it was a long time ago
Oh,
when,
yes.
it was a long time ago. And I wanted so badly, you know, I'm a hippie woman. I have, even back when I was a teenager, I had a very curvaceous kind of a body. And I so want, you know, you always want to be what you aren't. And I so wanted to be like those little size 0 girls who could wear those Sassoon jeans and look all cute like the commercials. That was not going to happen with my posterior. And so when I went to Lucille Roberts and they're like, okay, and they printed out this thing that I had the body type of Linda Carter, Superwoman. Remember Superwoman? I had
Yes.
her body type, and I was like, wow,
Wonder Woman, girl.
Wonder Woman. Oh my God. Okay,
You
so
had her body type? Oh my
I
gosh,
had
you
Wonder
active.
Woman.
You had her. He was rocking. Oh my gosh, I loved her body. I
I
loved her
felt
body.
so much better saying, wow, I can look like her, and it's realistic instead of me trying to look like a size 0, which is never going to happen. I mean, I wish we could be like Samantha Stevens on Bewitched, snap our fingers and say, okay, I'm going to be a size 8 today. Ding, it's done. And then we create a whole new wardrobe for ourselves and, you know, snap our
Yes.
fingers. Wouldn't that be awesome? Unfortunately, that's not probably going to happen either. So we have to really be realistic, as Goddess Star says. And if you can figure out, and if you use, that really helped for them to use celebrity body types. Because now you're thinking, and subconsciously, it's like, wow, Linda Carter, she's Wonder Woman, she's a great actress, she's accomplished, and she has this body, I can do that too, instead of me unrealistically trying to be a size 0, which I can't be, and I'm already setting myself up for disappointment because it's just not going to happen. But I
Right.
can get excited about looking like Wonder Woman. That I can excite myself about and go and achieve that. So even if you just notice the celebrity body types, pay attention to the celebrity's body that kind of matches yours, or at least matched yours when you were in shape, when you were like a teenager. Pay attention to that, and then you can use that, as Goddess Star has pointed out, as a template for creating that change in yourself that you want. Because I thought that was absolutely brilliant. One more thing I'll add before I let you continue on, Goddess Star, is as you were talking about the figure candle, and I think you can pretty much get those in most metaphysical stores. We have them here. They come in pink, red, there's black. They have all different colors you can look up.
Yeah,
And what I was thinking was, if you're going to use one of those candles to create the body that you want, then with the wax that's left over, you can carve a sigil into it and put it, you know, empower it and put it in your mojo bag and bring it with you so that you're keeping that same energy with you all the time.
Yes, that's
So
awesome. I think that's brilliant.
you can
That's
do that
absolutely
too.
beautiful.
And you can use the color mojo bag that represents good health to you or success to you, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Use the color that represents that for you. And you'll
Yeah.
be able to keep that energy with you all the time to help you also with your plans.
One of the things actually you mentioned that I thought was great, in addition to what you were saying about that star, think about it. Didn't you say that when you were younger, that's what you looked like? Because what I have actually done sometimes is not pull up the magazine necessarily, but I pulled up my photos from when I used to compete in bodybuilding. And I'm like, darn, I used to rock, man. And
Yeah.
I would take that and I use that on my refrigerator. I'm like, I want to look like that again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you know you've been there because this is your photo. This is your picture of you with your body rocking out. And you're like, this is what I want to look like again. And
Right.
forget about the age. Forget about the age. I'm going to forget about that part because you can do it at any age. Honestly speaking, you can. Unless you have a disability like myself, I'm sorry. And even then, I'm trying to work around that disability to do it. I've been trying to create a workout for me to do with my disability so that I can lose some weight and get back in shape the way I want to, you know?
Right.
And I'm thinking it might have to be swimming, which I'm not great
Right.
at. I'm going to have to probably do that.
Or water aerobics. Water aerobics is really great,
Yeah.
especially on the joints. I like water aerobics. I do that because I have joint issues myself. So doing the water, it's not that hard pound on the joints. You're not
Right.
really hurting yourself, and the water also helps with the circulation. There's a lot of benefits to water
Yeah.
exercise. I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's another thing. You don't have to do crazy exercises and put yourself in pain. There are gentle exercises that work really just as well.
Yeah.
There
Absolutely.
really is.
And that, honestly, I can help. And if you have any questions about exercises with stuff like that, you can ask me, because I was a certified trainer. I used to train bodybuilders
Ah,
at one point, including my husband and myself for competition. So I used to train people. So I know little techniques and things like that, training wise, that if you need help with that, I would gladly
mhm.
answer questions for you.
And that's a perfect question if you want to put that into our forum for Goddess Star to answer some questions or maybe give you some advice that can help you, by all means. And again, the forum is, if you go to the Priestess View page on Facebook, it's pinned right to the top of it. So you'll be able to just go ahead and click on it, and you can write whatever questions or comments that you would like to talk about, or tell us what it is you want us to focus on for future shows.
Absolutely.
Now, another reason I have that New Year's resolutions fail is because we also subject ourselves to the subconscious of other people. They could be our friends, they could be our partners, our lovers. So let's just say you're married or you're in a committed relationship, and you say, you know what, honey, this year I'm going to take off that 30 pounds I put on. We've got 3 kids. I put 30 pounds on. I'm going to go ahead and take it off. Well, a
Right.
lot of times our friends or our partners, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, our wives, our husbands, their subconscious fears kick in. So their subconscious is saying, well, wait a minute. If my wife loses 30 pounds, all these men are going to be looking at her. And then maybe one of them will come and take her away, and she's going to be getting all this attention. It's not a good idea for her to lose weight. So the husband or the partner may say, but sweetie, I just love you the way you are. I don't want you to lose weight. You look so cute with your little rolls of fat or whatever they are. I want you to stay exactly the
That
way
is
you
not
are.
cute.
No, it's not cute. But
It's not cute.
when you've got your sweetie saying you're so beautiful just as you are, and I just love it. I just love everything. I even love the cellulite on your thighs. You're just so gorgeous. You've got the best looking cellulite
Mm,
ever. You might say,
mm,
oh, my sweetie loves
mm.
me. Okay.
Yeah, no, no, I don't believe that.
And do that. So you're dealing with other people's subconscious, and it might not even be your partner. It could be even a friend who says, "Oh no, if Priestess Star takes off 20 pounds, she'll look better than I do. So I'm gonna have to nip that in the bud really quick, because I don't intend to stop eating chocolate. I'm gonna keep eating, so I'm gonna make her keep eating it too." Oh, Princess Star, you're so gorgeous as you are. I don't know why you let society tell you need to lose weight. You need to just be who you are and feel. If you want to eat chocolate, you need to go ahead and do it and express your right to eat chocolate whenever you feel like it. And if people don't like your body, that's their problem. People can make very logical arguments to keep you in the same space. And so
Yes.
you still have to pay attention. You have to say, well, you know what, sweetie, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you think I'm a beautiful person. I think you're a beautiful person too. But for my health, I've got to get this weight off my bones or my ankles or my joints or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't want to have heart disease or these other things, or get diabetes. So it's
Yeah.
really a health maintenance thing. This will shut them up so that they leave you alone. I
Yeah.
want to lose this weight so that I can be with you and we can have another 20 years together, so that I'm healthy and my heart is doing well. And this way, that'll give them something else to focus on, instead of worrying that you're now going to leave them or look better than them, or do something that is going to cause a positive evolution to you, but may take away from them in some way.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of the same thing that you do when it comes to spells. I mean,
Mhm.
they pretty much, some people, especially, that's why a lot of times people say, don't tell anyone about a particular spell that you're doing.
Right,
It's not, it has to be to do with someone. If you trust a person, then they will support you and encourage you. But
right,
sometimes they will say that doesn't work, spells don't work, or things
right.
like that. Already, they are trying to, without realizing it, maybe, or consciously so, whatever it is, it's already negating that spell. And
Right.
you don't, whenever you're doing, one of the first things we tell you when you're doing spells, never negate your spell. Your spell, think of it as already happened and coming forward in such a way that it's accomplished already. So if we're
Mhm.
telling you to make sure that it's already accomplished in your head and you've already seen it, and you're seeing
Right.
all the fruits of this accomplishment. Wow, I'm looking so rocking in that swimsuit. Or look at the money I've gained. I've got that new car that I wanted. I'm still looking for that 6-cylinder 4-wheel drive Isuzu Trooper. That's what I want, or Jeep Cherokee.
Right.
Anyways, you know what I mean. So you can get what you want from it, but don't let people already start negating your spell. It's the same exact thing
Right.
that works in real life with your weight loss or the different things, because whether consciously or unconsciously, they will try to sabotage what you're trying to
That is
accomplish.
true.
And
That is
that's the
true.
secrecy part that people talk about when it comes to your spells, because you want to have it be accomplished and you don't want anyone to take it away from you in
Yes,
that sense.
absolutely. Absolutely. And, the other thing that I have before we move on to the next topic, and I see that, wow, time is going well here. We'll have to kind of pick it up because we've got so much to say to you. We just want to do
Yes.
everything we can to get you back on track. So, for this particular topic about why resolutions fail, I'll finish with this one, is because you're saying, you know what, I've just got too many things right now to get started. I've just got all these things. I've got to handle this. I've got to handle that. I've got to get my kids to school. I've got to do all these things. Well, I'm a big believer, and you will hear me mention this several times during the course of the show. I'm a big believer in moon therapy. And I like to use the waning moon. We always talk about the new moon and the full moon. The waning moon rocks because you
Yes.
can use that waning moon to get rid
Hmm.
of any of those distractions in your life that you
Yes.
need to get rid of. So you can just, get yourself a white candle. If, these you can get at the Dollar Tree for $1, or you can use tea lights if you want to light a tea light every day, or get an actual 7-day candle. Write down those things that you need to get rid of in order to accomplish your
Right.
goals. If you need to get rid of all of these car problems that you're having. Every time you turn around, there's a car issue. It's costing you money. You can't get to work. You can't get to the gym to do what you want to do. Set up your waning moon candle to resolve whatever issue it is that is affecting your car, or affecting you, or affecting the kids, or whatever it is that is stopping you. And you can just make a list of those things that you're trying to get rid of, and just plop your candle on top of it and speak the words out. Candle, my dear mother, sister moon, in your waning glory, I truly have need of thee. Please remove these obstacles, these challenges that are keeping me from my goals in a way that harms no one, and through positive ways and means, so that I can evolve and more successfully. You can use your own wording for it, and
Yeah.
just set up your candle and let your cares go away. I've had a lot of success using waning moon candles to get rid of things in order for me to get done what I need to be done. If you're not quite sure, well, I don't know what to get rid of, then just say whatever. All of those things that are adverse to me and countering my goals and my achievements, please safely remove them, causing no harm to anyone, always through positive ways. It means so it is. And do what you got to do. And use your abilities also to help you, because it's body, mind, spirit. We have to do the mundane. We have to engage the spiritual. As Goddess Star says, we have to just work with everything, that all of our resources working together. The
Right. Right.
mundane, the spiritual, the emotions going into it, all of it works together. And so go ahead and set up, and you'll hear me talk about waning moon throughout the show. And the new moon is Friday, I believe. So you've got some time, a couple days left, if you want to try to get rid of some things. These candles from the Dollar Tree burn for about 3 days, so now's a good time to start them up and really work on getting rid of the obstacles first. Clear the way first and then go forward. Because if you're trying to go forward, you've got all these obstacles and you can't get forward, then that also causes frustration. So before you
Right.
even start your resolution, make the resolution to clear the way.
Right, right. Actually, you said that, and it brought to mind two things as you were doing it. I'm making notes from you as well.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we've always done is once a month we do an uncrossing candle. So again, it's a white candle that you just had. It's a pull-out one or a 7-day one, and especially when you live in a city that's very crowded, like New York, where I live,
Right.
running into a lot of energies every day. You're right in front of it, on the subway, you're packed, or whatever it is on the buses. You run into a lot of negative energy all day long. A lot of
Right.
times you would start off your day with a different energy, and by the time you get to work, things you feel out of sorts because you've picked up
Mm-hmm.
energies on the way to work,
Mm-hmm.
because you've come in contact with so many people. And
Right.
so we always suggest that you do an uncrossing candle once a month, and the waning moon would be a great time to do that, to
Mm-hmm.
remove just about any and everything within you or within your lifestyle that is not a benefit to you. So that's a great thing to do. And one of the things too that Goddess Rhonda mentioned about the waning moon, a lot of times people will call me or email me and I want to do a particular spell and I really need to do it right now, but it's the waxing moon or it's the waning moon and I need to have that job and it's waning right now or whatever it is. Everything you pretty much any spell you could do at any time except the ones that we were just mentioning about uncrossing, which is done in the waning moon. That's better accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, things are better in a certain phase of the moon, but if you need to, because circumstances are, you can burn a candle for whatever the particular thing or problem that you're dealing with. Just word
Right.
it in a different way. You know what I mean? You can be creative. You can say, like, say for instance, it's the waxing moon,
Right.
and you have so many things in your way that's negative, and you really want at that job, and you're doing that job candle, but you're like, but all these things are coming at me that's preventing me from getting this job.
Right.
So then you word it when you are doing it. You say, I want this to be accomplished in such a way that everything that in any way that's going to block or take me away from accomplishing this goal, I want it to have it removed from here. Not just removed, but take it and put it somewhere else for the time being, or take it and put it towards the waning of the moon. Whatever
Right.
it is that you have to say, you can find a way to be creative and word it slightly different, because like Goddess Rhonda said earlier, words are very powerful. So how you use it is in the way that you make it fit to whatever purpose that you're doing, you know, and then of course always saying and coming and accomplishing or letting it happen without harm to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to make sure nothing ever harms anyone coming to you. But
Right.
at the same time, you can word things in a way that will accomplish what your needs are at the time. Because like there are times, again, it works in a way when, say for instance, in a waning moon, there's a lot of people looking for jobs. So they're looking for jobs at any time of the month. And again, you can recreate your words and say, remove the things, anything that's blocking me from getting that job.
Right.
And they are not, it's still going to accomplish you getting that job, but you're removing everything, whatever you can think of every and anything that could possibly prevent you from that job. But also bearing in mind, again, you have to be realistic. If someone is more qualified than you for a particular job, apply for not just that job, but other ones that you are more qualified for. Try to apply for jobs where you're the one that's almost overqualified,
Mm-hmm.
so that you have a very, very good chance of getting. You know, you always
Ex-
have to be able to word things a certain way. It's just one thought with that.
Excellent. That's an excellent point that you're making. Did you want to add anything else before we move on to weight loss? Because now we're going to get on to the topics, individual topics to try to help you with that.
Okay, right, right. Actually, no, because I thought we were trying to going down. We were already had gone past some of that, I thought, with the weight loss and stuff. But actually, go ahead. I think we should begin and get going because we have a lot we're trying to get done here.
I know we have a lot to get done, so we're just going to go ahead. And we don't have to discuss those points that we already went over with the weight loss and the business, but there are some key points to also help you with that. And I chose weight loss first because I think that's usually we all want to look great and we all want to feel great because of how we look, and summertime
Yeah.
is coming and so forth and so on. And so I have down on my notes that in order, and I'm using myself as the example to help me, and this has helped me, is getting the weight off of my mind first, because that is where my triggers come that are going to make me reach for a piece of chocolate. I've got this pressure here, I've got to get this job done, I've got all this stuff done, get all these things done, and I'm tired and exhausted. Up, I think I'll have a piece of candy. I'll get a little sugar boost so I can keep going, or have a piece of cake because I'm stress eating because I've got all these things on my mind, which is causing the stress, which is causing me to eat. Now, this is if you're a stress eater. I tend to be a stress eater. When I'm stressed out, I will reach for a piece of chocolate, a piece of candy, a cake, a cookie, anything to counter the displeasure that I am in. The pleasure of that chocolate on my taste buds will counter it. Plus, I get, a sugar high, which is not good for me either. So that feels like I can get more done, but then I crash, and then it becomes a cycle where I've got the sugar and then I crash, and then you can actually become an actual sugar addict. But I recognize that the reason that I'm doing that is because I've got so much on my mind. I am pressuring myself. And so with pressure, I've got all this weight that I'm carrying in my head, which then translates through eating into my body. So whatever it is that is stressing you out, that is what needs to go before the weight. If it's your job or your boss is stressing you out, then use a spell to counter that or put them on ice to freeze their energies. Do what you have to do to get that stress off of you, at least to the best of your ability. Some things, if you've got little children running around, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about that because you've got little children, they're your responsibility. But certainly, there are other things that you can do to help to de-stress yourself, to block those triggers. Even if you can just meditate 10 minutes a day before you even swing your legs over the bed to get out in the morning. Lay there for 10 minutes, meditate, resolve for peace, bring peace into your entire being,
Right.
body, mind, and spirit. Relax yourself. And by getting rid of the stress, getting the weight off of your mind first, you won't have all those triggers, and that will help you get the weight off of the body, which is what it is you're trying to do in the first place.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I really don't have a lot more to say about the weight loss part because I kind of covered a lot of it. But one of the things that did come to mind as you were speaking was the stress part.
Mhm.
The stress and anything that's negative in the sense of your friends, or rather so-called friends and things like that. Because one of the things, as well as things that we have that's going on stressful in our lives, um, uh, I've noticed that when I became ill with my disability, one of the things the doctor said was that you tend to do a lot of stressful things or have a lot of stressful people around you and things like that. And I
Right.
started saying, okay, I have to start eliminating either the stresses, as much stress in my life as possible. And I started telling people, if you stress my ass out too much, I'm going to have to start letting you go. You're going to have to start. I'm sorry. You're going
Good
to have
for
to start
you.
stressing me out, all the different things, because it's sorry, but it's the truth, you
That's
know
all
what I
right.
mean? Because
Hey, do you, goddess? You.
people stress you out, and You're making me laugh. But anyways, but you tend to take those people and the things and you kind of say, enough. If you cannot change and be part of my life and be supportive, I'm going to have to let you go.
That's
And
right.
I've done that over the years, bit by bit. And as a matter of fact, you feel kind of lighter. You feel sad in a way because you had to let that relationship go. But at the
Right.
same time, you feel lighter. So then you kind of know, if you feel lighter, that means it was the right thing to do.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And maybe one day they'll come back in your life. But right now, it's too much stress in your life. And a lot of that would help, but even with your weight loss. And that's the truth, because the more you take away some of the stress, is the more you're able to live healthier and think more about what's right for you and supporting you.
And that really is true. We've got to get the stress off of us because everything translates from the spiritual into the physical. And if you're carrying all this weight on your shoulders spiritually or energetically, it will start to translate into the body. So we need to get rid of that first. So I'm just going to go over some points and then I'll ask your opinion on them. I just have a couple to go over. And I
Okay.
talked to you about this before. Another thing, okay, and again, I'm using myself as an example, but I know that other people will do this as well, is my end goal. So let's say, for example, I have an event coming up in July. I could say, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lose 40 pounds by July because I want to look good in my dress when I go to this
Right.
wedding or this picnic or wherever it is I'm going to. And I'll work out and I'll stick with it. Here comes July. I'm in that dress. I look awesome. And then after the event, I will go pick up that chocolate cake or the cookies or some bonbons or whatever, and I'll fall right back into my old habit because I made a goal that was temporary. And so my achievement is temporary. And another thing is a lot of us, conversely, somebody, I can do that. If I say, you know what, in August, I'm going to be down 50 pounds, I'll work out and I'll do it. But some people will default to procrastination. Well, let's see, it's March. Let's say it's 5 months to August. I have plenty of time. Then it'll be April, and then it'll be May, and then it's June. Up, I could still lose 20 pounds. And then suddenly the day's there and you haven't done anything. Well, what you can do if you're the opposite type of person, where if you give yourself such a long term goal that you're going to procrastinate, give yourself very short term. Don't worry about what's going to happen 30 days from now. Focus on the day. For today, this is what I'm going to achieve. Just go day by day. This way you can get it done that day and you can just focus on that day and you lose your subconscious argument with yourself. Well, I've got 5 months until August, so I can start next week. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and eat all this pizza. You're going to say, you know what, today I'm really going to make an effort and just focus on the day. It'll take that stress off of you. It takes away excuses and it'll better able you to just focus and get something done. Even if you say, you know what, today I'm going to walk for 10 minutes or I'm going to take the stairs instead of the elevator, just focus on the day, short term goals, and then acknowledge your achievement. Say, hey, you know what? I took the stairs. I walked up 4 flights of stairs today. I never do that. That is way too cool. Good for me. And you start you boosting yourself up. If you congratulate yourself at the end of the day for what you have done, then you start looking forward to what you can accomplish the next day. So it's also
Right.
sort of about trying to work with and understanding what your modality is that works or what your triggers are or your weaknesses and then countering it. If you're the type that says, in 4 months, I'm going to lose 40 pounds and you can say, I can do that, and you do it, then go ahead and do that. But if you're the type that says, I'm going to lose 40 pounds in 4 months, and then you start putting it off, just say, you know what, today I'm going to exercise. I'm going to burn some calories today. You don't even have to put a number on it. We can start very small. If you say, I've got 50 pounds to lose, even that just, oh my God, 50 pounds is so much. It's going to take forever. How am I ever going to get all that weight off of me? Instead of, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and try and lose just even 1 pound a day. I'm just going to walk or I'm going to do this. Short term, small goals that can help you achieve just little baby steps. Little baby steps will get you to your goal. Maybe slower, but you will get there.
Right. Right. Absolutely. A lot of what you said, I agree with. One of the things is that, again, I'm using myself.
Mm-hmm.
I am disabled, and because of my situation, I used to work out 5 to 6 days a week, and
Right.
I am not able to. I have not been able to work out at all for the last 4 years.
Right.
So that became an issue, and it made me gain a lot of weight. So I've been, and when I hit a certain point, and I was like, oh my goodness, that is the most I've ever weighed in my entire life. I panicked. And I was just like, no friggin' way am I going any higher than that. And
Right.
I made a conscious effort to start eating, which, interestingly enough, there's a lot of us. I have the kind of metabolism that slows down because I don't eat. And there's a lot of people that believe that, oh, yeah, you gain weight only when you eat a lot. Yes, that's the people that overeat. That
That's
there's a difference. But there are people like myself. I'm lucky if I eat maybe once a day because I'm not hungry. I don't have an appetite. So it made my metabolism slow down, and instead I gained weight because I was not eating. So my whole thing for me was I had to eat. So I've been
right.
trying to make sure that I eat, as I try to eat 3 to 4 small meals a day, which is very
Mm-hmm.
hard. I have gotten up to two, but I've lost 4 to 5 pounds a month because of it.
Right.
So I'm very happy to have lost 30 pounds so far, but I gained all of that. It's a lot, and I still have so much to lose because of
Right.
it. So everybody's weight loss is very different. Either you have to eat, for my, like, there are people like me that you have to eat more. If you eat 4 to 5 small meals a day, you actually would lose weight. If you notice models and people who are slender, they eat a lot. They
Yeah, they
just eat a
do.
lot of healthy foods, but they eat 4 or 5 small meals a day. They're always eating, but they're not just not eating, like, um, uh, not just, I'm not going to say McDonald's, because every food you can eat can either make you gain or lose. It's not just McDonald's. If you eat anything and overeat on a daily basis, you are going to gain weight. So it's not,
Right.
people say oversized or whatever it is with McDonald's. It's very different depending on what you eat,
Right.
So you could stay at home and make, depending on how the person cooks, they can gain weight there because they're cooking with too much oil, grease, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Although, say for instance, you have a steak. Like when I used to work out, I would come out and eat only what my body craves, and I would have like steaks and a salad, and I felt great, and I didn't gain an ounce, not one
Right.
inch of weight that I gained. So it all depends. If you eat what your body wants it to eat, honestly speaking, I don't mean just saying, oh, I always need to eat cookies or dessert or whatever it is. No, if you are really working out and eating healthy, honestly speaking, your body craves a certain types of food. I didn't crave all the different things. I did have dessert every now and then, but I'm not a big dessert either. But I did have it, and I did want certain, but I would come out saying, my husband and I would be like, I want steak and potatoes, or I want steak, salad, and potatoes. Whatever it was, that's what my body needed, and I didn't gain weight.
Right.
So it depends on what people eat, and also on a constant basis, how often you're eating that. You know what I mean? Or the portions. Another thing that people do is eat excessive portions. Majority of times that you have food on your plate, if you eat half of that, you'll find, and eat it slowly, like a regular person is supposed to sit and eat slowly. If you eat that, just whatever it is, eat half of that very slowly, you will feel extremely full, and you literally can't eat anymore. And after a while, you can't go past that half.
Right.
You would find yourself constantly having to put that aside because you can't eat it. And you're that way, you're not dieting. You're just eating in the portions you're way supposed to be really eating, because the portions here are served way too much. It's too much food. And of course, people feel like you've always been told by your parents, eat everything in your plate. So people feel like they need to finish all their food on their plate, and they tend to overeat. So there's a lot of things like that you have to consider when you're trying to diet. But I like the idea that you said that you have to take your time with everything that you're doing with it, and get it done in the way that you can accomplish it for yourself. You know, whether it's daily losing the weight, a pound a day, or whatever it is, whatever works for you. Don't let anyone dictate it for you, and make it work for yourself. You know, I
Right.
like that you said certain things with it, and that works. You know, and again, base it on yourself. Don't go basing anything on anyone else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Um, and the fallacy of people who are extremely overweight, they would sit there and they would eat. I don't know how they do it, 2, 3 Big Mac meals. I could barely finish one Big Mac meal. You know what
It's
I mean? But people do it. You know that, and then they wonder why they overweight because of what you're excessive eating. The portions are too big. You know, so I mean, we're not going to go into like the show of where it's going into this complete weight loss thing, but we just wanted people to know because that's a pretty big thing for a lot of people.
it is.
Um,
It is.
you know, around the world, but America is one of the has the most obese people in I think pretty much it's pretty much high on the list around the world, which
Right.
is kind of sad.
Absolutely. And just two more points that I want to make is I think a lot of, if you have tried and tried and tried to lose weight and you have not been able to do it, then in your mind, you might start saying, well, I'm never going to change. What's the point? What's the use? It's never going to change. It's always going to be this way. And what we need to do with that to counter that is to learn to accept the change. And the way that we do that is by noticing all of the changes that go around you every day. You're always changing. Of course, you can change. You're not the same person that you were a year ago. And a year from now, you're going to be a different person too. You'll be in a different space. You'll be in a different mentality. Change is constantly happening. Pay attention to the changes also going on outside of yourself so that you can accept the fact that change can occur. Notice that the leaves are turning. You know, we're approaching spring here in Albuquerque. The leaves have already started turning green already, and the cherry trees are already in blossoming. They weren't that way 2 weeks ago. That was positive change. Even when you're at your kitchen sink and you pour the liquid soap into the sink, well, you just took something liquid and then you mix it with water and it creates all these suds. So you've changed something
Right,
that is a water element into something light and airy. You've alchemized it from water to air. You've changed the element, the whole thing of it. If you can do that, you can certainly do that for yourself. So just pay attention to change, the change that goes all around you, and accept the fact that we're always changing and we can decide how we change. Now, we can change by gaining more weight or we can change by becoming more healthy. And if, especially if you focus on the health aspects, if I say, you know what, Star, um, it's okay to keep that extra 30 pounds on. You're going to be
mm,
okay with that because you're just so gorgeous. You know, it's easier for you to say, yeah, you know what, I am pretty hot. Maybe I'm okay. Maybe I don't need to work so hard. But if your doctor says, you know what, Star, if you don't get that 30 pounds off, you're looking at diabetes, you're looking at heart disease. You're suddenly like, oh my goodness, my life is at stake. I can focus on this because I want to save my life. Use your survival tools because when it comes to your survival, you can do a whole heck of a lot when you feel that you've got to bring out that fight or flight or do something to survive. Think of this is your survival. You need to get your cholesterol down so your arteries are clear. You need to not have sugar spikes so that you don't get an adrenaline overload. There's a lot of
right,
other ways to look at it so that if it's saying, well, you know, I'm going to go on a diet and that's not enough to help you to stop eating so much, then don't focus on the food part or the goal of having a smaller waistline. Focus on being healthy, that you're putting your life at risk by not doing it. And that can
right.
also help you. And then just a quick tip that I have been using and it is working beautifully is I have been putting my intentions into the food that I eat, that I align the food harmoniously with my metabolism and my digestive system so that it is digested and metabolized quickly, efficiently, successfully, and that I absorb all of the maximum nutrition that I can from it without gaining weight. And I guarantee you, I do this in like 15 minutes after eating, my metabolism fight. I am burning hot. I can feel the whoosh of the heat starting to metabolize that food. So
Right.
again, it's not just doing the mundane tasks. Use your ability, your witches, your priestesses, your priests, your wizards. Use it. Go ahead and use that. Empower the food with your intention that it's going to be metabolized quickly. It's not going to put any extra cushion on the hips, and it's going to go through the body, do what it's supposed to do, and then get right back out again. So that
Yes,
also helps too. Go ahead and use your magic to lose that weight.
absolutely. I agree entirely.
All right. So our next topic, got a star, is starting a business, because a lot of us say this year we're going to do it. We're going to start that business. We're going to write that book. We're going to do whatever it is that we are trying to accomplish. And then something happens and then we end up not doing it. So what
Right.
advice do you have for our viewers about starting a business and getting back on track with that?
Well, one of the things you can, even if you have to start, because a lot of times when you put that on the list, again, a bit of fear steps in. Will I be able to do this and support myself? Um, I call it, there's a term that I call people who, and again, it depends. They're not all the same, but there are people who are salaried people. No matter what you do, they can talk about business all they want. They will never start a business because they're salary oriented. They depend on always having a salary, and they don't care how it's done. They want to always know they have that salary of that income coming in every 2 weeks or whatever, however it's done.
Right.
And I have watched people who are salaried people, and I call them that because I have watched them try to start businesses and they never quite accomplish where they want to go with it because of their mindset that they have of, I've got to always see that paycheck coming in a certain time every time for them to feel better.
Right.
So what the only other way I suggested to some of them, but I have not seen it worked yet, because they've not been able to get over that salaried part, is if you're going to do it and you want to try to make it do, and you're salary oriented, do both. Keep the salary going, the salary job, and try the business up part time. But
Right.
at least start it if that's what you really want to do. Unless you really want to do it, then you're never going to quite start it. But if
Right.
you really want to do it, you can accomplish it. You know, you have to decide how much that salary. Yes, we've got to pay our bills, and I know that's why they're salary driven. They've got to pay their bills, but
Right.
at the same time, you want that dream of starting a business. So you're never going to quite get there with it unless you find a way to begin it at some point and say, okay, I am going to begin this now. You know what I
Right.
mean? And go with it from there. Take a chance, stop the fear, and take that chance and take the leap of faith and do it. Now, there's also the people. I mean, I started there at one point with the salary, but I'm very hard to take. Again, I'm speaking from my personal point of view. It's very hard for me to take what you call it, directions from people all the time in jobs where I saw that if they could do it this way, it would be a lot simpler and get accomplished faster. So I tend to have to go, if I'm not gonna, I will do the job. I always do my jobs to the best of my ability. So I'm the best at whatever I'm doing, but I will
Right.
start to do my job, my business over here because I want to do a business for myself. So it depends on, there are people like ourselves that are entrepreneurs to the bone. That's what we do. We've always been able to survive somehow by being that entrepreneur. They're always trying to do our business and take it to a new level. And we will keep trying and finding people to support us with it. And I don't mean financially, I mean supporting us with ideas and thoughts and, try this new idea or try this new website or try this new forum or whatever it is. You know what I mean? You find ways and resources that you need to do to accomplish it, what you need to do.
Right.
There's the thoughts also. There's a couple of points I wanted to make with that. And it's not just, yes, always, if you can, start it off with, you can start it off or you can begin the business part first. It's up to you. You can, whatever works for you. Either begin the business part first and saying, okay, this is what I have to do. And you start setting up all the groundwork for the government part of what they need for you to start a business, to be legal in every way. But at the same time, you can start a candle spell or a spell work, whatever, however you want to do that spell to get started for a business that you want to do. Send out the intention to the universe. Speak the words of what you want to say. I would like the business to be this particular way. Write it down. Write down all the ideas. One of the things that work well with business is writing it down. Write down your ideas, what you want to do, how you're going, the steps you're going to take, and follow through with it. Because you can write all the steps down, but if you don't follow through, it's not going to work. And it's the same thing with your idea of the candle. You send the spell out, finish it up, say, I see it. I see myself already with this business and it's taking off. Yes, it will take time because that's what business does, but it will take off, and have faith in yourself.
Right.
So, what ideas do you have for that too?
Well, the first thing I wrote down is a lot of people will want to start a business and they don't know where to start. They're like, well, okay, I've got this great idea for a business. I want to do this. I don't know how to do it though. Where do I even begin? And the best way to do that is consider the business that it is that you're trying to do. And the first thing that you should do is study the websites of the people who have already been successful, have become successful in what it is that you are trying to achieve for yourself. So let's just say, we've got a lot of fledgling psychics out there. They want to become professional psychics. Go and look up, top 10 psychics. Look at their websites. Look at how they present themselves. Look at how they even just do the colors on their website. Look at what the content is. What is it that's drawing people to them? What it is that they're doing. I'm not saying to copy their techniques, but by the time you look at 20 or some odd websites, you say, okay, from this one, I like this. And from this one, I relate to that. That's something I would do. And create something of your own using the template from the people who have already done what you are trying to achieve. That is one of the best ways to start. And also, there are so many YouTubes and free webinars. When I started this business, I knew nothing. All I had was my skill. I had no idea what to do. And so there are so many free YouTubes, so many free webinars. I don't care what it is, if you want to do, if you want to be a writer, a singer, an actor, a business person, webinars that will help you be a singer, an actor, a business person. They have all kinds of free webinars, all kinds of free YouTubes. Thanks to the internet, you can get free training to do whatever you want, but at least start off by looking at the websites of the successful people so that you can see what it is that they're doing and how to do it, and then roll on into looking for free webinars, because there are so many free webinars that are interactive, or YouTubes for that particular business that you're trying to start. Everything I've learned almost from YouTube, from getting lighting to cameras to present, how to present. There's so many things that you can learn from the business, and you might have the skill, but if you don't understand how to market yourself, there are free webinars that will teach you how to market whatever it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to self-publish a book, but now you've got to market it too, there are a ton of people offering free webinars on how to market your book, or how to do this, or how to achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Study that, but pay particular attention to the people who are successful in what they are doing. See if they've written books about it. Read their books. Get some ideas. These are the people that can help you. My favorite person, one of my favorite people, I should say, that helped me tremendously just with free webinars, just with free stuff, was Jack Campbell, he's the author of the Chicken Soup for the Souls book.
Cool.
And one of the things that I love about him is he is a study in perseverance. I believe he got 144 rejection letters for that book, and he just kept putting it out there anyway. He's like, well, maybe 145 will be the trick. And it was. And now look, he has sold 500 million books, not 500,000, 500 million. Even though someone said no, all these publishers said no, 144 times. He says, well, I'm just going to keep doing it. And he didn't start off rich. He was an inner city school teacher making what, maybe $30,000 a year to feed his family. And now he's a billionaire. So I love Jack Campbell because he perseveres, but also as a way of giving back, he does a lot of free webinars. You can just look him up, Jack Canfield, go to his website. You can get all kinds of ways to start a business, write a book, how to keep the flow rolling so that you don't get distracted. And one of my favorite things, and I use this all the time, is when you're trying to achieve something and you get tired and you don't want to do it anymore. Jack Canfield says that's the time to ask yourself, what is this worth to you? What's it worth? If it's worth having a more comfortable life or feeling better about yourself or whatever it is, if it's worth it, then you can find the fortitude to work at it for an extra 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it is that
Yeah.
you have to do. So that's what I had as my first thing for starting a business.
Wow, that's really brilliant. I think that's cool. And what actually you said something that was interesting. That interesting little word called free. A lot of times I've met a lot of people who are starting businesses and they start off saying, but I don't have the money to start. I'm going to start doing this, this, and this. And they're spending money left, right, and center to do each thing. I had one person said it's going to cost me 300 and something dollars just to register. I forgot was it what? Oh yeah, my EIN number with the government. And I looked at them and I was like, what are you talking
No,
about?
it's
It's
not.
free. It's
Yeah,
free. And they were like, yeah, I Googled as to what they word. Again, words are so powerful. When you Google, be careful how you Google. Listen to the words you're asking.
right.
So they were constantly saying, but it's cost 300. I said, I don't know any such thing. It is not 300 anything, not even 300 pennies.
No, it's
It
not.
is free.
It's free.
It's free. And they were
Zero.
like, where, how? So I Googled and I sent it to them, the link, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's free. I said, yes. I love that word, that operative word, free. There's a lot of things that's free, whether on Google or, like you said, on YouTube. And there are ways to do this without having to spend a ton of money. Yes, you're going to spend money at some point. But there are ways to do it and ways to find your way around, because if you don't do that at first, you'll go broke before your business even begins or before your business takes off. So you have to do to get what you want on an inexpensive way or free. And there's a lot of free. I'm telling you, you can learn a lot. Google is your best friend.
You got that
And you
right.
guys are lucky. When we started out doing businesses, we did not have as much access as you guys have or
No,
as much resources as you guys have. It's easily at your fingertips. So you guys have it made compared to when we started out trying to do businesses. And we were able to still find the free and find ways around it, because we know if we spent that kind of money, we would never be able to have a business, because we will be too busy spending money, handing it over to everybody else and making them rich, and we're not getting anywhere. So you
exactly.
have to find ways to whatever it is that you see out there, there's got to be a way to accomplish it with less money, either less or free. Okay, that's one of the things I found out. And you can do it. There are ways that you can do it, because otherwise you're gonna be stuck spending way too much money. Don't you
Absolutely.
agree, Goddess Rhonda?
I absolutely agree. I've gotten so much free information, and you'd be amazed at how many people offer free webinars, free YouTubes, free blogs, free templates you can download. By all means,
Yeah.
take full advantage of that. Now, the other thing that I had was if you don't have the money to buy, because some things you are going to have to spend some money on, there are supplies you're going to do, then
Yeah.
before you start worrying about the business, worry about your prosperity spells. I
Yes.
bought Christopher Penzak's book, which I have to tell you is
Isn't it awesome? He
awesome.
rocks. I love
I
Christopher's
love
books.
him.
He
And he
rocks.
was on our show earlier when we on the radio show, and you can look at that archive too, because he offered a lot of information. But I purchased his book on Kindle, The Witch's Coin: Prosperity and Money Magic, and you can also get it You can get the hard copy if you want. And you can even, if you don't have a lot of money, there's even people selling used copies of it. So if you only have
Right,
a couple
right.
of
You can get it
dollars,
used pretty
you can
inexpensive.
you can get it used. But he has so many, because the book is focused strictly on prosperity spells and prosperity magic. He has so much information that you can find a spell in there that resonates with you. You know, not
Yes.
every spell resonates with you, but there is one of them in there that is going to. My particular favorite one is the pot of gold spell. And I believe he had talked about that on the radio show when he was on our, when we interviewed him for that. But it's a
Yeah.
way to keep the money flowing all of the time. You just feed your bowl once a week on Tuesdays. I don't have it in front of me to tell you everything, but if you're going to make an investment, you know, if you're going to start a business, then you have to be prepared to invest. And even if your first initial investment is $8 for a book on how to make more money or how to get spells to bring that prosperity or keep the prosperity flowing, because a lot of us will do a prosperity spell. Okay, I need a prosperity spell because I need to pay my car payment at the end of the month. I need $350. And then you get that $350 and you pay the car
Mm.
thing. And then you're back where you started from with your other bills. Whereas with his pot of gold spell, it is a continuous flow of money that's constantly coming to you. And so you
I
can
love
use
that
that.
spell
Oh,
already.
it is probably one of the most awesome spells ever. And it works really, 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 really well. But he's got all kinds of stuff in there. So if you want to start your business and all you've got is $10, use that to get Christopher's book, or if you don't resonate with him, there are plenty of other spell books that you can use to start working on the prosperity end to get the money that
Yeah.
you need to invest in this. And just, you know, you don't have to buy everything at once. Buy things one at a time. A little piece of equipment here, a little thing there. If you've only got an extra $10 a week, buy something little with it, or save up that 10 so that next week you have $20. And then you can buy another little piece of something that you need, a piece
Yeah.
of material that you need, or a book that you need to get into, or there's a class that you need to take to do what you want to do. You can just start off slow. We don't have to try to do everything all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. And also a lot of things, as you mentioned that, it made me think of um uh this a book called by Alexa Rosian called The Supermarket Sorceress. And the reason I'm bringing up the supermarket part is because there are a lot of different herbs in your kitchen cabinet that you can use that are money oriented herbs. There's the basil, the bay leaf, all of those things, and thyme, rosemary, all those things are great herbs that are very money oriented herbs that you can use in your spell. You know, as you put your candle, put it in the water, and that water has those herbs inside of it, and you put your candle in there, and that's a very money oriented set of spell that you're doing right. A lot of things that you have in your kitchen cabinet and you use for cooking, that can be part of your spell work. And again, you're not going out and spending any extra money. It's in your kitchen. You use it for cooking.
Right.
So they're great things. There are lots of things that people don't realize that they have in their kitchen that they can use for different parts of a spell or whatever it is that they're working on. You know, and if you don't have the money for the other things, then use what you have. You know, so that way you were still working on it. You're still trying to achieve what you want to achieve, but you're
Right.
using what you have at home, you know? And that's one of the things
Exactly.
that she tells you, you can use what you have.
Exactly. And what I really, and I love the bay leaves, and especially when I just write what I want and I burn it. You know, a lot of, if you don't have a lot of time to do spell work, there's a lot of quickie spells that you can do. And the bay leaves is probably one of the quickest of them all,
Yeah.
because you're inscribing on it what you want, and then you use the element of fire to achieve that, to burn it into the universe and bring it back to you. So you don't even have to worry about, well, I've got to, you know, I don't have time to do this 30-minute long ceremony, and I don't have
Yeah.
time. Well, you don't. You can do a 3-second spell every single day. It will add up.
Right,
That
right.
energy will add
Or
up.
you
And
can, or you can take that bay leaf and the parsley, and sorry, not the parsley, the basil, and what was the other one? Rosemary and thyme, and you can ground it up together and burn that. That's an incense that you put together. All pure herbs, and it becomes your incense. You burn that, send it up into the universe, say what you want from it. All of those herbs are very money oriented and resources that you can bring in to help bring money in, you know. And one of the things that I had learned, again, I forgot what the name of the book was, of the candle spell, where you're burning with a green candle, because people do that a lot. You mentioned that, where they ask for a particular thing or a particular set of money, it comes in and the money goes back right out, or whatever money comes in, they're immediately paying everything else but fortifying you or your home, or even having a vacation or anything like that. Because why? It's covering everything but you. So what you do is you'll burn that green candle, yes, for the money, but then you bring in the brown candle, and it represents the earth, the stability, you know, and it keeps money flowing in, coming in, and staying where it needs to be, fortifying that home, fortifying that you, and all the things that you're trying to do. So you're bringing that green and that brown together, and it's not just bringing in the money, but it's keeping it flowing constantly, similar to the pot of gold spell.
Right.
It's very, very imitating of that as well.
Right. Absolutely. And just also, I love what you said about, because I love grinding up herbs and things like that, and doing
Yeah.
the basil, the parsley, rosemary, the thyme, and empowering them. If you are allergic to smoke, because, if you throw it on the charcoal block and you can't have smoke, don't worry that you're saying, well, I can't do that because I can't have smoke, so I can't burn incense. You can still use it as a powder, use it as a wishing powder. You don't
Yes.
have to burn it. Put it in your hands, empower it, and blow it into the universe. Let the element of air take it. Ask the element of air, take these herbs where it needs to go to grant me great wealth and financial prosperity, always through positive ways and means. Blow it. And you don't have to burn it. You can use it as a wishing powder. You can sprinkle it in your bath so that you can bathe in it and absorb those energies, so that you're just literally
Yes,
exuding
absolutely.
all of these money properties. You can put it in a mojo bag. So don't limit yourself and say, well, I can't do it because I can't have smoke. There's a lot of different ways that you can
Got to
use
be
Goddess
creative.
Star's creation and use it effectively without having to engage with smoke billowing about, so that you don't have to worry that you're going to get sick.
Right, right. Hey, man, but that's what we do, right? Witches are supposed to be, or spiritual people are supposed to be resourceful and be creative. And there you go. You have to be creative. I think that's
Yes,
brilliant. Absolutely.
we do. Resourcefulness is really, really important. Now, before that's all I had to say about business. If you wanted to add something to that, Goddess Star, before we
No,
move on
I
to
think I think we pretty much covered all that we were going to speak about it there. I think we covered it all that we were going to, the little topics that we wanted to quickly touch on, including the spell work part. So I think we can move on
okay.
to our next topic.
All right, then our next topic is finding your new love, your soulmate.
Oh,
And we start off like, this year I'm not going to be alone anymore. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to find somebody new, and I'm going to bring this awesome person into my life, and we're going to live happily ever after. And here it is, March, and you still haven't found anybody. And to be honest with yourself, you haven't put a whole heck of a lot of effort into it, or if you have, everyone you attracted was the wrong person. It's like, oh my God, I've been through all these hundreds of people and they're all weird, or they're crazy, or they're whatever. No, and there's no good people out there left. Well, yes, there is. Again, you have to employ your skills as a metaphysician or priestess or witch, or however you term yourself. You are not helpless for anything. And you can use your skills to get the love that you want. Now, one of the most important things that I want to bring up about this is your wording. The first thing, and I hear this all the time, is, I want to find my soulmate. No, you don't. Your soulmate are the Romeo, Juliet, drama for your mama, can't live with them, can't live without them. You want to kill them, but you can't because
I
you
love
have to
that.
have them in your life kind of relationship. You break up, you come back together again, you love each other, you hate each other. That is the soulmate relationship, because you two souls agreed to come down here and work on things together. So when you keep saying, well, I want to find my soulmate, and all I've ever had was crappy relationships, chances are you found your soulmates. These are the people that are going to help you evolve through conflict. And that's what the soulmate is. Change
Right.
that. You want to find your twin flame, or you want to find
There you
someone
go. There you
who
go.
resonates with you on the same level as you, who likes what you
Yeah.
like. Change your wording. Changing the wording changes the energy. And understanding
Yes.
exactly, if you Google what is a soulmate, you're going to find soulmates are not what you think they are. They sound great. It's like, oh, my soulmate, someone who's attached to my soul.
Yeah.
These are about soul contracts. And
Yes.
typically, you evolve through conflict with them. So please don't ask for your soulmate, because it's not going to get you the person that you really want, who is going to grow with you and flow with you.
Right. You're absolutely right. And you either and a lot of people also relate the twin flame to their life mate. So it's not soulmates they're asking for. The life mate and the twin flame are very similar in that sense, but they're definitely not soulmates. So
Right.
Goddess Rhonda is absolutely right there. So if you want to ask for that love, and you're absolutely right, Goddess Rhonda, they're all constantly asking for their soulmates, and
Yes.
it's so hard to explain to them, but especially when it's not a person of a spiritual typing.
Yeah.
They tend, and we get a lot of people like do with our
Right.
spirituality. They just want us to do this for them, and
Right.
they're not understanding. When you try to explain, they're like looking at you with a deadpan face, and they're like, I just want my soulmate. You know what I'm talking about. It
I
happens all the
do.
time. And you're like,
I
okay,
do.
fine. You're not willing to listen and whatever it is. So we will work with you with that. And then they get what they want and they're not quite happy because it's like you said, the
Right.
whole drama, everything that's going on. And I'm like, but that's what you wanted and you would not listen.
Right.
Because a lot of times when we are working with people, especially when it comes to love, you do not listen. You do
It's
what you want. You hear us. I know you're hearing us because you're looking at us dead in the eyes and you're hearing us, or you're listening to us on the phone, but you're not willing to do what we say. And we
right.
kind of, I know I have come to terms with the fact that, and I tell them that straight out, I'm going to tell you one thing, but I know you're going to do what you want. And they're like, no, 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 I'm going to listen. I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I know they're going to do what they want. Because you're going to
Mhm.
say not to put a person's name.
Yeah.
Because if you're really looking for a person that's your mate or your twin flame, you will allow it to go out to the universe and
Right.
let it find your actual twin flame or life mate. But they don't allow that because they've already got that person picked out and they say, I know that's my soulmate. I know that's who I'm looking for. I know that I love them and I know they love me despite the fact that they're with someone else. They say
Right.
all these things. And so you will try as best as you can to guide them in that way, but you know what they're really going to do, especially when they've already told you they know who they they want. And I know that has happened to you because it has happened to
Yeah.
a lot of. So you would guide them with how to do the spell, and that's another thing they tend to do. I'm going to backtrack a little bit with the money or the business spell. When it comes to money and love, please don't do them together, because the one thing I
Yeah.
have found with the human beings in general, when it comes to money and love, it's the two biggest things in their lives. The id, the entire id comes into play, and all
Mhm.
they see, these are the two biggest things because that's how human beings, uh, that's how they satisfy their soul, love and money.
Right.
So if these are the two biggest things in your life, there's a tug of war going on if you're trying to do both at the same time. So you're going to have to decide to choose one and do it first and then do the other one afterwards. I would suggest normally either wait till the candle of the 7 day is finished first or wait for the 30 days before you do the next one. It's up to you. But again, it's very hard because even with myself, and I know what to do, I know what to expect, but I have not done a love and money spell together in years. I stick to my money spell because that's, to me, what's more important. I could find love, as far as I'm concerned, when I need to, because as far as I'm concerned, I had my twin flame. He passed away. Because
Right.
if years later you can still think of someone and miss them so much, you know that that was part of a flame that was meant to be there.
Right.
And he passed on. So to me, at least, I feel like I have at least had it once in my life. There are many people that have had many relationships, but they've never had that flame, that twin flame or life mate relationship. So they have
Mhm.
no idea what that's all about. So I am happy that at least I can say I had it once in my life. So
Right.
I can wait for that. So one of the things, you do have to sit down and realistically say, what do I want first? What do I want to work on? I want them both, but I have to choose one and put it first.
Right.
So because of that whole id going on, I find that they tend to nullify one another when you do a money and love together. So work on it separately, or different times rather. So when we're getting back to the love spell, one of the things that I would suggest, again, if you are thinking for a life mate or a twin flame, then genuinely think from it, from that part, and say to yourself, I really want to find that twin flame or that life mate. I really want to do that. And be honest with yourself, because I hate to tell you this. If you're not honest when it comes to love, you are not going to find that twin flame. You have to be honest. And that's something that's difficult for a lot of people when it comes to love. Because again, they keep relating back to someone that they should not be with in the first place. There's
Right.
a reason why there are issues there. So if you take one of the things that I've asked with clients when they are looking for that twin flame, they're genuinely looking for that. I ask them, what color do they find best that they relate to with love? Red or pink? Because depending on who you speak to, of any metaphysical person, they will tell you pink is better for love, or they will tell you red is better for love. So I always ask, what feels right to you most? Because that's the one that's going to work for you best,
Mhm.
of the pink or the red. And a majority of people say red for the heart, so that's what I want to go with. And it works for them. And some say pink. It all depends. The reason that people have a confusion with that is because of that energy with the red, it's more sexually oriented, passionate, and
Right.
all of that. And you know, pink, they relate to that soulmatey, that love that's supposed to be long lasting. But again,
Mhm.
that word soulmate is a bother for me if you're looking for the
Right.
true twin flame. So you have to be careful what you're choosing in terms of color, and go with your heart. If that's the one, that the color that vibes for you for that, then that's the one you choose. And that's the one that you work with for the love spell that you're going to do. And when you're doing it, I would suggest, do not put a person's name on there. Because the
Mhm.
minute you put a person's name on there by choosing that person, that may not be your twin flame, and you've now negated that twin flame. You've not given them that chance to find you, or yourself to find them. So don't put a name on it. You put your name. If you want, one of the things I suggest to people, make a list of your attributes on a piece of paper. Make a list, and then next to that, make a list of the attributes of the person you would like to see in your life.
Mhm.
And be honest and realistic. There's no perfection. Don't say, I'm perfect or whatever it is. No. Good, bad, or indifferent, put everything down and work with what's there. And good, bad, or indifferent, what you would like to have. Because if you're not perfect, do not expect to find that perfect person. They're
Of
perfect
course.
for you. They're perfect for you. You know what I mean? So
Right.
then, if that's the case, when you're doing that, again, you're carving whatever sigil that's right for that new love, or that twin flame or life mate, and say it. I would like to find my twin flame. I would like to find my life mate, whichever word comes right for you. And again, don't put a name on the candle other than your own. Put your sign, your astrological sign, that is. Draw that on the candle as well. You put the love oil on it. I tend to put either goddess of love or something like that on it, because I kind of say to myself, why not have who knows best about love more than the goddess of love herself?
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to say, okay, let the goddess of love do her job or whatever it is. And again, you don't have to go with a particular goddess or anything like that. You can choose whatever you want, because don't forget, the goddess of love is represented across the world with different traditions with a different name.
Right.
And however she relates to you or whatever it is. Do whatever you think, or just maybe just a love oil, a love attraction oil. It all depends. But I tend to go, especially when it comes to twin flames and life mates, with the goddess of love. And I would put that oil on it. I would put the carving on the sigil and say it from your heart. I tend to want to have you do that spell around midnight or something like that. No one's around. It's your quiet time. It's all about you, and you kind of say from your heart, even if you, sometimes I've seen people literally blubbering and crying because they're saying from their heart what they really want, what they've been searching for. And at that
Mm-hmm.
point, there are tears and there are different things. So they're saying this spell from the heart, and I've seen it work. So say it from your heart what you really want from this, and be honest about what you can give to this relationship. Because don't ask for your life mate and ask for all these things, and then you're not willing to give also with it. Relationships take both persons to work, and then go with it from there. Again, be sure about what it is you want. Words are very powerful. So when you're
Mm-hmm.
saying it from your heart, say what you need and want. I want that twin flame, or I want that life mate,
Right.
someone that I can take with me, even if they pass on now, like how my husband has passed on. I didn't even know I was looking for that, and that's what I got. And you tend to meet them, and if you meet them, you would know in the sense of you feel like you've known them forever. There
Mm-hmm.
are attributes to it. I know you have some of them as well that you can say point out to Goddess Rhonda. There are things like with a twin flame. I don't know how to explain it. You just feel like if you've met, it's not even meeting your other half. It's just you sit there or you stand there in front of them and you're not sure how to relate what you're feeling. Um, I don't know how was it for you when or if you've done so as yet in meeting your twin flame or life mate. What are some of the things that you thought? Because I can't remember offhand some of the attributes that you found.
When I saw my late husband, and I'm a widow as well, I just knew. I can't tell you why I knew. I just knew. And we went
Yeah.
out on a date, and we went to a bar, and we were sitting there talking, and he knew I was going to call him Wolf. That was the nickname that I gave him, was Wolf. And I knew he was going to call me Butterfly, and he did. My late husband was from Pakistan, and he said, and I knew, I said, he's going to call me Butterfly. And he goes, I want to call you because there was a little language barrier. And he said, I want to call you the creature that goes from flower to flower to flower. And I said, Butterfly. He goes, yes, Butterfly. I knew he called me that in other lifetimes, just like I called him Wolf in other lifetimes. He knew I was
Yes.
going to call him Wolf. I knew he was going to call me Butterfly. We just went right ahead and resumed our roles. And,
Right.
you have to be grateful that we did get to experience that, even if it was for not as long as we like. But to
Right.
have that instant soul connection, I know you, you know me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything else that went with that. So, my focus now is also on prosperity, because in order to complete the missions that we are trying to do to help so many people, to bring paganism more out into the forefront, use our powers to fight evil and those types of things, that costs money for the things that we're trying to do. So raising the money for that, trying to get these missions done, but also for pleasure and for things that I want to do too. That's more my focus now. But that doesn't mean, for all the rest of you out there that are focused on finding love, that's okay too. You need to focus on what your soul needs. But, I guess Goddess Star and I, we kind of satisfied that part of ourselves. And now we can focus on trying to do what we can to improve the world through prosperity.
Yeah. And that does not mean that I'm not going to eventually meet someone else. Who
Oh
knows?
no, of course not. It's
I'm
just not the
just not,
focus.
right, right. I'm just not consciously looking
Right, exactly.
because
Someone will show up
I've had a
eventually.
satisfaction with that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just not the focus. There's just too many things that we're trying to accomplish and to help society and help ourselves and help our spirituality. That right now is the focus, but that doesn't mean that that can't be your focus. And what I had as the first thing down for finding new loves, and I get this a lot with a lot of clients that will come to me and say, I don't understand why I can't find a new boyfriend, or I can't find a new girlfriend, or I just keep trying and I can't find anybody. And invariably, we'll pull cards to see what's going on. And invariably, the reason they haven't found anybody new is because they have not healed or allowed themselves to heal from the old relationships that may not have been what they were looking for, that were unpleasant or hurtful
Yeah.
or harmful to them in some way. So they don't even realize they're walking up with this barrier around them, that even though in their mind they're like, I want to find somebody new, but they've got this now force field that their subconscious has put out this, no, it's not safe to find anybody new. We've been hurt before. We might get hurt again.
Right.
So we're just going to go ahead and put this force field out because we can't let people get too close to us. They hurt our feelings. And then I'll talk about that with them. We'll go over, what it was about that relationship that they are still hurting from, or what it is to fix it. And there's a couple of ways that if you are still healing from an old relationship, and there's a lot of reasons why, it might be because you never got a sense of closure. If you haven't got a sense of closure and you can't talk to that person anymore, you can talk to their soul. Sit on the edge of your bed and say, hey, listen, so and so, I need to tell you this. You really hurt my feelings, or you had this impact on me, whatever. And I just need to get this off my chest and let you know. If you don't want to do that, you can write it on a letter, you can burn it. There's a lot of things, but you must get that pain out of you, or it's going to keep festering. And if you work with your chakras, the heart chakra is typically where that is affected when you've had a painful relationship. And it might translate physically. You might get heartburn, pressure on the chest, asthma, feeling like you can't breathe because your heart chakra has been compromised. Just by putting, and you really should work on all of your chakras because they're important energy vortexes. But to heal your
Yeah.
heart, if you put your hands over your heart and imagine beautiful green light, just green, 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 green. Your whole chest is this green light. It will work to heal that area, putting the green light back in. If you are not visual and you can't see green light going through, then just use your words. Words have power. I am sending green light into my heart chakra with the intention that it is healed on all levels, from any old wounds or scars or whatever that is affecting me and keeping me from my new and true love. So it is. And just
Right.
keep your hands on your chest. And that will help you to heal that heart chakra and get that invisible barrier that you don't even know that you have up down, so that you are approachable, so that someone will look at you and say, hey, there goes, looks like someone I could talk to, and come up and talk to you, instead of feeling your energy like, I don't know, there's something weird about, like, I don't know if this person is approachable, and they keep going and you missed out on a new love because you're still standing on the empty battlefield of your old relationship.
Right. And actually, in following up with that, because you're so right, and I forgot about that, one of the things that, and I read a book, it's not related in any way, like a pagan book or anything like that, but it's an actual romance book. But the author did such a great job with one of the things that she said, because she said that a lot of women and men coming out of broken relationships or any of that has been hurt, not only, like you mentioned, they're working on how they're so broken and they put up that guard, but they tend to hold on to the pain so much that if they do get into a relationship, they treat that person as if they were the ones who had hurt them before. So they're so not letting it go that they are punishing them. as if they're the ones, because the person is not there. So they're punishing this new person for basically the sins or the crimes of what the other person did, the past or the ex or whatever it is has done to them.
Right.
And as human beings, if you don't, like you said, all of that is based on your healing. If you don't heal, and I don't mean just your spirit, but your body needs to let go a lot of it.
Right.
What the damage that was done. Do a cleanse, a body cleanse. All of that person, that garbage that person left behind. Essentially, that's what they've done. Left garbage behind with you, and you now have to let it go. So it's not just a spiritual thing that you're letting go, but a physical thing, the toxins and the cleansing your body so that you can move on and not blame someone else that's new, that's here offering you all this love, and you are punishing them, basically, for the past deeds of someone else. So you're right, and it just made me remember about that part that people tend to do. So it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I
true.
totally agree with that.
People will hold on to pain, or you'll find that they say, well, I keep trying, I keep ending up with the same kind of person. They're abusive, they're
Mm,
critical, they're this and
yes.
that. And that is because since you never got over the first person that did that to you keep attracting the same kind of people into your life because you're still trying to resolve that old relationship through the new one. And so
Right.
you're wondering, why do I keep bringing these abusive, mean, or whatever kind of people, needy or using people into my life? It's because you have subconsciously, you have not let go and you're still trying to recreate that situation so that you can resolve it. And again, you are standing on an empty battlefield. Everybody else has gone home and there you stand ready to defend yourself. And you don't need to do that. You need to get off that empty battlefield and start building your new foundation. So you can even do meditations for that, where you can, see the empty battlefield of your
Yes.
old relationships and all the rubble strewn about, and then realize you're the only soldier standing on it. Everyone else is left. And turn around and change the scene to a beautiful meadow or a beach or a mountain scene where it's just where whatever you respond to and the birds are singing and you feel the heat of the sun on your face or the breeze of the air against your skin, and you start building a new foundation. You can visualize bricks that say confidence, love, appreciation, and place those bricks on the new foundation as a meditation, because meditation is also a way that you can cast spells. So you can do that.
Right.
But by all means, we must get you off of the empty battlefield first and back into the meadow or the beach or whatever it is that brings you pleasure, so that you can have a bright outlook on life and a new slate, a nice clean slate, instead of
Right.
staying perpetually where you were and parading people who represent that first person who did that to you back into your life over and over and over again.
Yeah. And actually, you just reminded me that you can also do a love healing spell.
Yes.
You can do either a red or a pink candle or even a green one,
Yes.
and say on it, carve on it what you want. And and one of the tricks that you can do, and I just remembered, if you have a 7-day candle jar that's in the jar, it's stationed and it's not pulled out like the ones that I like to do my candle spells with, you can use a marker, a black marker generally, because you can see it better, and draw on the outside the same way you would have carved that same thing onto the carving of the candle that you pulled out. So that's another trick that people use sometimes with candles and spells. They draw it on the outside on the glass. So you can do it there too. But one of the things you can do, and I've seen people say, they've done all the other things, the cleansing of the body, the different things, but they go on, they do the chakra, like Goddess Rhonda said, and they go on and they do that love healing candle. That's the final thing that they do, like the lid on closing on the last part of it and letting it go. And they said that when they have done the 7 days and whatever it is of the candle burning, they can just almost see it all just flushing down, all of it taking
Mhm.
away all of the past hurts and everything. And you gotta be able to look at it whenever you do a spell candle of any kind. I always say to people, every time you pass that candle, think about, while that candle is burning, think about what that spell is about. Think
Mm-hmm.
about the fact that, or say something. This candle is for love healing. I'm getting rid of another part of it. Maybe if it was abusive, say, I'm getting rid of all the abuse to this body because it's not happening again. I'm getting rid of all those things, anything that was negative or negating in any way, that was wrong for this body, that hurt, a broken heart. My heart is now healed. My heart has now come together. And my heart is working as a whole, as one, with me going forward. Any of those things that you can think of, you keep saying, and reinforcing that spell every time you pass the candle and you see it lit and you say something, or you gently touch it and you say again what it is that spell is about, and you walk away. Nothing big or anything like that. You're just gently touching it and reiterating to yourself what that spell is about, and you walk
Mm-hmm.
away. And that works. It really does. And again, I think it's a lot of it is very mental, but it works.
Right.
Anything you would like to add, Goddess Rhonda?
Yes, I do. I did have healing remedies as well. And again, I'm going to bring up the waning moon candle, which is an excellent time to ask the moon to take away whatever lingering pain is happening to you. And what I like to use for that, the healing candles, I like to use the white candle. And I get oil. And I talk about the Dollar Tree a lot because A, I like to be thrifty, and B, I can get things that I want there. But what they call vegetable oil on their shelves is actually soy oil. And soy oil has healing properties in it. It's about healing. So I like to use a paintbrush. I thought I had one in here, but I don't. I like to paint my candles with the paintbrush, and I empower the oil and the candle. I empower the oil to heal whatever situation that I'm trying to heal. So I use that to heal my financial situations, whatever adverse things. You can go ahead and empower that oil to heal whatever the situation is, and then incorporate, of course, the waning moon into it as well, to go ahead and purify that situation and safely take it away from your body so that you can
Right.
get your health back. You really should a lot of times we'll jump into a spell to get something without taking out the trash first. In order to fill up our coffers, we need to get rid of all the gunk that's in it that's keeping our ourselves from having that prosperous flow. So you got to sort of take out the garbage and do this healing and removal of those things that are adverse to you, so that then you can then go ahead and do the spell during the new and waxing moon to gain those things. Because otherwise, if you're so full of gunk, even if those things start to try to come to you, they can't even get in, because you are still so caught up in whatever pain or trauma or issues of the past that subconsciously you're not even accepting the new things in. So you're like, oh, I'm doing all these spells and they're not working. Well, that's because you didn't empty out the trash first and start off with a new
Right.
vessel to receive and have something for that abundance to go into. So
Absolutely.
that's what I
Absolutely.
had for that too.
Absolutely.
Did
And
you
I
want?
think we're set to move on to our next topic right now, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say, because we've been at this now for, I didn't realize we're over the 2 hour mark. We only have two more things to go, everyone. So just bear with us. Our
Yes.
next is getting a new job. We try and try and try, and we's like, I've really got to find a new job. I've got to find a new job. This year I'm going to find a new job. Well, again, you want to change that wording. You don't want to just find a new job. What are you going to do after you find it? You want to change that to, I'm getting a new job this year. It's going to happen. I've got this new job. It's going to happen. You put that out there. I'm getting a new job. I will have a new job. I have a new job by next week. Don't say I'm finding, because that's typically what people say. I'm going to find a new job. I'm looking to find a new job. Well, take out find and use engage. I'm getting, I'm receiving, I will have, this is coming to me. And just saying I'm
Right.
going to find it, and then you find it and then you don't do anything. It's just sitting there.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I in that so-called finding a job, one of the times, or rather, one of the things that do happen is people will find a job, but they're not happy with that job. They don't
Mhm.
like it, or it's a job that they're like, they're either not proud of, or they're like, it just pays the bills, and they go in like a drone every day and they do it, but they're not happy at all. So of course sometimes it makes them not do their job to the best of their ability because they're not happy. As a matter of fact, they found a job, but they're very unhappy. So again, there they are looking for another job, and they don't have the time to go out and look for that other job because of the hours that they have with that one presently. So one
Right.
of the things that you have to do when you're looking for a job, I think, is ask yourself, what are you good at? Make a list of all the things that you're good at. You know, and then ask yourself, and what would you like to do? Not just what you're good at, but what would you like to do? And yes, there's a lot of less jobs and a lot more people looking for jobs. But if you look at things a certain way, it will help you find the right kind of job that fits for you. You know, I remember some friends of ours that looked for a job for a while and they were not doing well, and then finally he finds the job that's exactly what he's looking for, and he's so happy about it because it fits in not just what he wanted as a career, but it was just like it's exactly the kind of job and mentality and everything of where he wanted, so he's extremely happy. The pay is great, all of that. So he went about it with, what is his talent, what is he good at, what would he like to do, that kind of a thing. And he was able to do all the other things that he had to do. Like, of course, you've got to do the resume. One of the tricks to a resume, I always say with a job, is I tend to I advise people to see if they can, even if they can have it done in a way where it's not noticeable, either with oil, an oil for a job oil or something like that, or a friend of mine did a sigil that they drew on the top right hand corner, a tiny sigil of a job, the job sigil, that what they're kind of looking for. And they had it done, they were an artist, so they had it done in such a way that it looked like it was just an artwork of the paper itself. So it did not look like there was a sigil and all of that. And their resume with a tiny bit of the oil in the top corner of it. And then they put some of their on their hands, and they did it like if it looked like a cream kind of a thing. So when they were done, it was just nice and no residue or anything. But they would shake the hands of the person when they did their interview and things like that. They were called back on several job interviews because you know how
Mhm.
they're no longer, when we were growing up, they had the jobs where you just went, you got interviewed, and oh, you can start so and so day. That was it. Now
Right.
they've got you interviewing so many different people before you get that job. Second or third interviews, and you're like, really? They need interviews that much, to find out if that job is right or whatever it is, because they've got so many applicants, they've got choices. So you want to stand out. You want to find a way that you stand out, that they'll remember you and call you back. So those are some of the tricks that they you can use to getting that job. You
Mhm.
know, so the oil, the hand, some of it on your hand, done in a nice way where they don't even realize. And they've actually said sometimes, that is a really nice smell. What is that? And they think it's your lotion or something like that. In the meantime, it's something they remember and they relate to you. If they smell it again, they're still related to you. So they'll remember you. So that's another thing. Use whatever resources you have, in the sense of friends of friends. A lot of even my son, and when they got their jobs, I got them the job through friends because I knew somebody. It got them the interview. One job my 17-year-old got, he actually didn't even go through the resume or anything like that. He got the job because they said, well, let's see, we've known you since you were a baby. It's okay. You you can start next week, because they knew him for so long. You know what I mean? Use your resources. Don't If he had thought to go for a job in a place where he was a stranger just like everybody else, he would have less of a chance. But he went to a place that he already knew. That was his resource. He knew the people and he liked being there. So he used his resource and he went there and he didn't even have to do much of anything. He didn't even have an interview and he had the job. So use your resources, use your friends' resources. Talk to people around you. When you go to a bar or a restaurant or whatever, be open and friendly because that person at the next dinner table might be someone that might be able to help you get that job. or they
Right.
may know of something, you know. So
Right.
use your resources, because jobs these days, I find, pretty much is when you ask people, they're like, oh, I got it because of so and so and so and so. So
Right.
use whatever resources that you have. Um, let's see, there was a couple of other things that I had written down. Um, again, the idea of the herbs and the oils. I mentioned the oils. You can do the herbs that add it as well to the oils, like the
Right.
basil and the bay leaf and all of that. Ground it up and put it in with that. All of those things help, and they smell nice. So it makes it just all it makes it does, it makes it like, oh, this person has a nice herbal smell to them. In the meantime, it's all pertaining to what you need it to be as part of your resource and a part of your spell work that you're doing. And that works with money in general, you know? So, what are some of the ideas you have, Goddess Rhonda, that you think would be great for that too?
Okay. Keeping in line with what you were saying, when you were saying to put like the sigil on the resume so that you are energetically standing out from your competition, you can also engage in the energies of Mercury, particularly on Wednesdays, because Mercury is the god of intelligence, wisdom, business, trade, and commerce. So you can call upon him before you even open the wand ads to highlight energetically for you those jobs that you have a really good shot at getting, the jobs that you should apply for, so that you're not looking through hundreds of jobs. Have, Mercury point out those jobs or have those particular jobs catch your attention. And you can also on Thursdays engage, and you can actually call on their energies on any day, but Wednesday is the day for Mercury, Thursday is the day for Jupiter. You can call upon Jupiter to expand your business opportunities, to expand your networking contacts, to expand, all those resources that you need to find that job. Use your skills, engage in the energies of the day and the planet. But more importantly, you also have to be very realistic about the job. If you want to move up in the company, you might need to get some training first. So instead of maybe focusing on, I'm going to get
Yeah,
this new and improved job, maybe first you want to get some training that's going to help you to elevate to that job. If you don't have the proper skills and training and your
yeah,
competition does, then you can cast 1,000 spells, and chances
yeah,
are the boss is going to go with the people that can actually do the job. You might be a great
yeah,
person, they might love your energy, but the bottom line is if you can't do the job they're paying you for, then you're not going to get that job. So first, think about the job that you want and figure out, do I need some extra training? And then you can approach it that way, which will actually is a great segue to moving
into
on to
yeah,
our last topic, which is education. Now, a lot of us, we think in terms of money. I'm going to go back to school so I can make more money, and we'll start taking a program or doing something that we know makes us a lot of money, be it in technology or whatever. We're going to study that because that's going to give us the money that's going to make us, help us achieve to what we want. But then if you're just going for the money, and not what feeds your soul. Even if you take the training and get that job, you're still going to be miserable. You have to do what feeds your soul. And you can make lots of money doing the job that feeds your soul, that makes you feel comfortable, that's in alignment with what you are here to do. So
right,
first figure out, what is it that makes you feel good. I get that also a lot with my clients. I'm stuck. I want to move forward in life. I don't know which way to go. I've got this job. It pays me well. I like everybody, but I just don't feel, I'm just stuck. And so we'll go over what their traits are that will let us know what it is that they are supposed to be doing so they have a direction in life to look on. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. Like they just want more, but they don't know what to do. I don't know what kind of job I should go for. What should I apply for? I don't know. Well, the first thing is we have to say, what do you like to do? What is it that makes you happy? And then you can go from there. So if you like sitting around and your friends like to tell you all their problems and you like to help and guide people, okay, that lets you know that you're supposed to go into the field of advocacy, where you're advocating for people or you become a counselor for those people or a coach. You're listening to them tell you all their problems anyway, you might as well get paid for it, and it will feed your soul. Or if you like helping people and taking care of people, then you might want to go into the medical field, become a nurse, do something like that. If you like working with your hands, you're really good with your hands, you like to take things apart and put them back together again, Maybe you want to be a mechanic or an electrician. A lot of people are, we've gotten a little big for our britches, I think, education wise, where everyone's like, well, we're just going to go to college and get this degree. And then you've got a million people with college degrees working at McDonald's. Whereas the trades, people look down on that. Oh, plumbers, electricians, welders. Oh, they didn't even go to college. They went to a trade school. Well, guess what? They're making $36 an hour while you're sitting in a cubicle farm with your big degree making $12 an hour. So don't worry about so much of the status even of it. Do what feeds your soul. If you don't know what that is, go. There's a free, because Scott and Star and I love free. Free's like our favorite word. We love free. There's a free website. It's called astro.com, astro.com. And you can
That's a great site.
Oh,
Great
I
site.
love that site.
Yes.
The caveat is you have to know what your birth time is. So ask your mom, ask your dad, look on your birth certificate. If you don't have your birth certificate and you need to order it, which I strongly suggest you do because it's that important, make sure when you order it that you check the little box on it that you want the birth time so you can get a full chart. And then you can look at that chart for free on astro.com, and it will give you insight into who you are, what you're about, what are your strongest traits, what are your weaknesses. You can use the one that I want you to use particularly, and it's all under free horoscopes, is Astro Click Portrait. Now they have another portrait, a short report they call it, or something like that. And that one will give you the basic traits. But if you click on Astro Click Portrait, your whole chart pops up. And you can click on all of the planets, all of the houses, everything in there. It will tell you everything about yourself and point out to you what it is that you are good at, what it is that you're supposed to be doing here, so that you have a good map as to what it is that you can actually achieve and how to train for it, or what kind of training that you might need in order for you to get there.
Right, right. Awesome. I think you pretty much covered everything that I would have wanted to kind of say with going back to school and all of that. But one of the things I would also add is what is it? Find out what it is you want to accomplish with going back to school. Because don't just go back to school to say I'm going back to school, for just any old thing. You know what I mean? Make sure it's something that you're going to enjoy or want, or it will lead to a particular job or goals or enhance a particular job that you're at. Otherwise, you don't want to waste money or time.
Right,
You want to be able to, there has to be a goal that you want to attain with it. So that's
right.
about the only thing I could think of with it. And again, the spell candle, maybe, I mean, with going back to school, you could either use orange or something like that, or even green, for knowledge. A purple is another good one for wisdom, and knowledge. And you can use that to help you in going back to school, to decide that you will be able to study and focus better. Because a lot of times when you go back to school after you've taken off from some time, it's very hard to go back and focus and stay, ready and set with what you're doing. And this will help you with that. So a purple candle should work well for that.
Yes. And if you're unsure, if you're like, well, I'm not really quite sure what candle, purple sounds good and orange sounds good, I'm not sure. If you're not sure what particular color represents education to you, then go back into your memory banks to the school colors of your high school, because
There
that
you go.
automatically is an association with education that you are already resonating with.
For you, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And Goddess, I think we had, one last one. It was about the new home or apartment, I guess, or your new
Yes,
dwelling.
ma'am. One more thing that we have, because there are people that are looking for a new home. They're tired of the apartment that they live in, or their neighborhood's going down, or whatever it is, and you want to start looking for a new house, and you're not really quite sure, well, what neighborhood should I go to, or what should I do, or how we should go about doing that, or even if you should leave the state. Because, sometimes if things are just happening over and over and over again to you, it could be astrologically that you don't have very good lines here. So what I wanted to give for that one to help you figure out if maybe instead of changing neighborhoods, maybe you need to change the state that you live in. Again, going back to astro.com, they have another free horoscope, and that is under Astro Click Travel. It engages astrocartography, which is where you're supposed to be for the best places for things to happen. So when you click on that link and you click on the Astro Click Travel, a map will appear on the screen. And at the top, there's a drop-down box, and you can click on North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, all over the world, and that map will come
Wow.
up. And
That's
then
awesome. I
on
never
that
knew that.
there's all these lines. You'll see all these different color lines that represent the planets. You can click on any state that you want to, and a box will pop up. And you want to look at that box, and in that box, it's going to give you the main transit that will tell you what your life will be like there. But also, there's a little tiny box that says show details. You want to click on that so it shows all of the transit. So just to give you an example, some years ago, I went to South Beach with one of my friends. We had like a little best friends vacation down there. And I just loved it. I loved being by the ocean. It was warm. We went in February. It was like 80 degrees. It was beautiful. We were happy. We had such a great time. We did all these things. We rode with the alligators and did all these fun things. And I'm like, I love this place. I want to move here. And so I went home and I went into astro.com and I clicked on the Astro Click Travel and I clicked on Miami, where we were. And it popped up and it said, after the initial glitter, the glow from the glitter wears off, you're not going to have a job. You're not going to have all of your dreams go to hell. I mean, it was just like, don't move to Miami. And I was like, oh my God. So naturally, I didn't move there, of course, because I'm like, I don't want to sit there. And it was basically saying all your hopes are dashed, all of your dreams fall apart. I mean, it was the worst reading I have ever seen. So it's important that you also look into make sure wherever you're moving is in alignment with who you are and what you're trying to achieve, or even you just click on it to see where you're at now, because you might click on that and say, oh my God, I've had all these love problems or health problems or whatever, and here it is right here. It's because I live here. I need to move over here. Let me think about moving over here where your life can actually take off.
That's awesome. Well, one of the things that, in terms of just personally and everything like that, I found that, again, utilize your resources, think outside the box, and plan ahead when you want it, where you want to move to, when you want to move, the time span that you have, because especially in New York, I don't know about other places, moving is a big deal because it takes us a long time to find what we want or need or can afford. That's the operative word. Can afford, because it's very expensive in New York to live. You know what I mean? So, one of the things that I did, because I did real estate, I created this nice oil and everything like that. Oh, and again, that whole thing about the price range, big deal. That's a huge deal with New York. I don't know about many other places, but depending on where you live, everything relates to what your income is. So if your income is a certain amount, that means that state that you're living in or that area you're living in, your money suits what's there. So it might still be high for you. You know what I mean? When you relate it all, when you work it all out. Write down your needs. And then again, I'm going to go into my little personal story with that. I created this oil because I said, I'm in real estate, so I should kind of know what I want in this oil and everything. And I created this nice oil for apartment find. And I did that. I put, of course, I did the mundane. I put up signs everywhere saying I'm looking for an apartment. I was selling my apartment in the East Village. And so I didn't think about the money part because I'm thinking I'm going to have this money that I will have when I sell my apartment. And I actually put up signs that said, if you can help me find an apartment for a certain amount of price range, I don't want to spend this amount, or higher than a certain amount, I will give you $500 cash. So I put up the sign all over the place, and a woman called me. She became a very good friend of mine, and she said a friend of hers is selling an apartment in Williamsburg. Now, I had never been visited Williamsburg. You know, I visit other countries, but for some reason, right across the bridge, I did not go to Williamsburg area, which is just literally like 5 minutes across the bridge. Go
Right.
figure that one. Into Brooklyn because I didn't want to live in Brooklyn. But my friends call me a Brooklyn snob, or is it Manhattan snob, whichever, because I'm always in Manhattan. But anyways, so I put up the signs and all of that, and the woman said, I called the woman for the apartment, and she said, I asked her how much was it, and she said, and of course I did my candle spell work for finding this apartment, and I said what I wanted. I put all the goals and all the things I wanted and what I wanted to spend, and I wrote a long list of all the things that I wanted. Okay. And of course, there are things that you forget for a reason. So listen to this story. She said to me, I'm selling this apartment for $1,000. And I'm going, okay, maybe I heard wrong. Maybe she said 100,000 and I just missed it. So I said, oh, you meant 100,000? She goes, no, 1,000. And I'm puzzled now, wondering what in New York is for $1,000. I said, is that $1,000 a month rent? She goes, no, it's being sold for $1,000. I'm like, okay, I'm still not quite wondering what's going on here. And then, she explained to me that it's an HDFC building, whatever that means and everything. And I was like, okay, I never heard of it. And I'm doing real estate for 15 years in Manhattan, and I never heard of it. And she then said, I said to her, she said someone offered her $1,000. I said, I will offer you right now $2,000 cash if I can get this apartment. She explained that it was a 2-bedroom and all of that. And I said, if this is real, I will offer you $2,000 in cash. She said, absolutely. I came without seeing the apartment. I went to the co-op building where I had to pay for it and everything like that. I saw all the board members and everything. And there was someone, she was still living in the apartment, and I went, and they said, you're welcome to the board and everything like that, and you're welcome to the apartment and everything. They showed me the stock certificate and everything, which is how you purchased the apartment, because it was a co-op. And I bought this apartment for $2,000. And I still live in it. I own it for $2,000. Now, to a lot of people, when I mention this, they're still going, you mean $200,000, right? I'm like, no, $2,000 I paid for it. And I pay, $500 a month in maintenance. And this is in New York City.
Wow.
This is in New York. Yeah. It was just so unusual. I did not even know it existed. So I got the apartment. The trick to it was, bottom line is, it's on the 6th floor, which normally would be the penthouse in the building when it's on the top floor, but it's a walk-up building. I forgot to put the elevator. Because I was new to New York. I thought everything had elevators and everything, I was accustomed to elevators. So I thought everything was there. I forgot to put down elevator. In the meantime, I live in an apartment. It's on the 6th floor walk-up. And yes, I own this apartment, but I did forget the elevator. But then I think of it like this. Had I put in the elevator in my spell work, I would not have gotten this apartment.
Right.
Right? I mean, because there's a reason I must have forgotten to put this down. So in all the things I'm writing down, it's the same thing with your love life and stuff, with the list that you're putting down. If you forget to put something, there's a reason you forgot. That's the way I always see it, because you never know. That's probably so to make sure you get the one that's right for you.
Right.
So that's my little personal story with that. And I wish you guys all the best in finding. I think that's the right spell to do for it, writing down what you want and saying what your needs are. And if you did forget something, there might be a reason for that, like with me. Okay?
Absolutely.
So
that's awesome.
So that
I can't believe that you got that deal. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our list. And we are just so grateful to have you join us. I see that we do have viewers watching us, and we're truly, truly are grateful to have you join us. We ask that you please visit our forum. Again, you'll see it on the priestessview.com Facebook page. It's pinned right at the top. Make your comments or tell us what it is that you would like us to talk about. And next week we will be back again, and we will be talking about how to customize your spell work so that it is custom to you, because that's very, very important. Instead of just doing something general, we're going to teach you how to customize everything so that it works better for you and more efficiently. And, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close out our circle. Hail and farewell.
Oh, and one quick second.
Okay.
We are going to keep checking back with you in every 3 months.
Yes.
To see where you are with your resolutions and how you're doing, and how
Right.
to see if we can help you to stay on track with it. Okay, just to let you know. So don't say you're gonna do it and then stop again. We want to see
Right.
where you are.
We're checking. We are checking it. And to be fair, we will also share with you our own progress on what we are trying to achieve ourselves. So
Yes,
it's not just on you. The teachers have to do the homework too, and we are willing to do it.
Okay. So
We're
that
going to
makes us do it.
We're going to go ahead and close out our circle. Hail and farewell, our lords and ladies of the elements and the directions. We thank you so much for your kind service, and release your energy back to its source. Blessed be, and thank you. And once again, we thank you again so much for joining us here at the Priestess View. Goddess Star and I are determined that we are going to create something very special so that pagans, or however you term yourself, will have their own channel to look at the shows and talk about the issues that affect us and our spirituality. So please stay with us on our journey as we continue to grow, and please grow and evolve with us. And with that being said, Mary Part, and thank you once again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.
Okay, Mary Part, everyone. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.